The story begins with Chu Yang finally making his way to the top of the Sword Order. All he has to do is banish this nobility from the land of the saints, and then he can marry Qin Chan. He will make those who harmed him fall at his feet. However, fate is a cruel thing. He was impaled by a guy who advised him to stop believing in his fairy tales. Chu Yan didn't understand how this was possible at all. The purple-haired guy had only called him a small bug. He would not allow Chu Yan to take advantage of him to achieve his goals. Chu Yang didn't understand why on earth it went against him. The boy replied that there was no why. He called Chu Yang a chosen one who foolishly relies on the author. The author in turn gives him plot armor and sends this guy to fight monsters that are stronger than him by times. But if the villain isn't stupid, there's only one outcome. Chu Yang has no choice but to die. This guy was wiped off the face of the world. Others saw the explosion. They were discussing the fact that Chu Yan had killed his older brother in an instant, but now died from a single blow from this guy. They were wondering just how strong the guy from the Land of Saints was. This guy's name is Ling Xiao. He is the young master of the Thousand Paths Demon Order. Ling Xiao called the system, and he used to be a third-rate online writer who wrote 100,000 words every day and managed to die of overwork. After that, the guy was reborn. As is usually the case, the protagonist must first go through hardships. Being cut off from his family, lack of ki, loss of talents. First, he will have a bunch of difficulties. Only then he will be able to realize his revenge. But now he's a Ling Xiao, namely a young master of the order on the demons of the Thousand Paths. His parents are masters of the supreme Tao in the Land of Saints. Where is it seen that the protagonist is the offspring of rich parents? However, it's not that simple. He became the ultimate villain. The one who bullies the main characters for no good reason, and then at the end he just becomes a means to someone else's ends. But he wrote 180 stories with a similar plot. Even though he had become a villain, he had no trouble getting rid of the chosen ones, and today was the first time he'd killed one of them. He wondered what reward the system would give him for it. The system reported that the chosen one had been eliminated, but the value of his opponent's fate remained unclear. Mission failed. Ling Xiao didn't understand what fate value he was talking about at all, and in the punishment comes the unblocking of demonic chi. Ling Xiao couldn't believe it. Is killing the chosen one not enough? He asked the system for an answer, but he didn't hear any reply. Demonic thoughts have clouded his mind again, and he could no longer control them. Everyone who saw it couldn't believe that this guy was a celestial demon, and he has demonic chi emanating from him. But that's impossible. Didn't demons die out 300 years ago? Everyone started running away from there as soon as they saw the demon getting bigger. Where Mono appealed to Ye Liu Yun, who is the patriarch of the 18th generation of the Qin Xuan Sword Order. One of the outstanding swordsmen of the Northern Desert, the head of the Ye family. Everyone asked Patriarch Ye to capture this demon. However, he was unable to do so. After all, the demon only killed him with one blow. The girl couldn't believe she had lost her father as well. First Chu Yang's brother, and now dad. Suddenly, someone smashed the shield. The girl rejoiced, for the Holy of Holies had arrived. Namely, the 4 sacred ambassadors. It was amazing that somehow a heavenly demon had gotten into the forgotten lower world. They appeared in the Land of the Saints. However, the girl felt that he was too weak. It was clear that she had not awakened to the 3rd step. However, a heavenly demon is a heavenly demon. And before he gets stronger, we need to destroy this demon. The man threw his sword at this energetic demon. At the same time, the girl was also weakening the demon with her game. Taking advantage of the demon's confusion, he decided to attack it. And as soon as the demon wanted to attack, another saint formed a shield. After which there was a huge explosion. The demonic ki dissipated. Still, if his heavenly demon body was at the 3rd stage instead of the 1st, they wouldn't be able to win. However, another saint intervened in their conversation and said that she wanted to kill him. Ling Xiao couldn't believe how everything came back like this. First he was drugged with demonic chi, and now these unimaginably strong jerks had come. Hasn't he been the main character all this time? Why did he have such a destiny? After which Ling Xiao was killed. The credits appeared on the screen. Ling Xiao grabbed the sheet with those credits. He asked the system how he had failed the mission. The system reported that the death of the body's host had been detected. He has only 2 options: resurrection or reincarnation. However, he did not want to make any of these choices. Ling Xiao asked if there were more options. The system reported that there were. In response, the guy wondered why he kept quiet and didn't mention it earlier. Option 3 was to turn on the rookie defense and start from the beginning. Ling Xiao agreed. The system reported that the rookie's defense is a one-time thing, and if the host dies again, it will be dead forever. However, there's no need to worry about that. Villains don't die twice. Bootstrapping has begun, adding NPS, introducing spiritual energy, distributing magical weapons. In that case, you need to put things in order. The character he has relocated has high-level skills and is stronger than many in the lower world he is now traveling to. In his previous life, he was a heavenly demon. Once he was brought out once, the sacred ambassadors immediately appeared to kill him. If he is just an idiot and follows the current, then at one point he will be used by the Chosen One to achieve his goals. But if he directly gets rid of the Chosen One, he will be punished by the system. Ling Xiao came to the conclusion that it was enough to deprive the Chosen One of his heavenly destiny. After all, he had written countless stories, so he is well aware of all the antics of the Chosen Ones. The author will not fail twice. Now she's going to have a lot of fun with these Chosen Ones. After she appeared in the world, she realized that time had also reversed after the restart. He saw people running away from the cave. One of them fell down. He told the others to leave him and flee. They must inform the order that young Master Chuyang of the Qinshuan Order is in cahoots with the demon lord Yue Zuchen. However, the energy had just been sucked out of this man, and a woman came out to them. It was the demon lord Yue Zuchen who said that no one should know about today's events, so they would all die here. After that, the people of the Qinshuan Order arrived. Also, there was Ye Qinchan, who is the daughter of the patriarch of Qinshuan. Ye Qinchan asked what was going on here. The man told her to stop pretending. A member of the Chuyang Order conspired with the demon lord to kill them, so that Ye Qinchan could take control of the northern desert. Chuyang had an intimate relationship with the deviless. Everyone here can attest to this. She turned away, saying that Brother Chuyan would never mess with such a demon. Yue Zuchen immediately attacked the girl and said that she was really annoyed by this talk about Brother Chuyang. She wanted to send her straight to hell. This was watched by Ling Xiao, who saw that the value of the demon lord's fate was 0. She is just cannon fodder. On the other hand, Ye Qinchan has a fate value of 400. He also realized that he had noticed this girl before. She is the main female character. It turns out that the protagonist learns that the main character is in cahoots with the deviless and almost gets killed because of her jealousy. Looking at the course of events of this story, now there must appear the one who will save everyone. She wanted all those hypocritical bastards burned alive. People understood that this was the end. They tried to run away. Behind her was Ling Xiao, who was preparing his stealthy attack. It pierced through her, and the girl couldn't understand at all how that was possible. In his hand was her core, which he then destroyed. The guy couldn't believe that the strongest deviless in all 4 wastelands had been killed by an ordinary breathing technique. Could this guy be immortal? Ling Xiao reported that they were all saved now. People began to thank him for his help. Ye Qinchan blushed. The guy replied that destroying demons was part of his duties as a cultivator. Therefore, there was no need to thank him for it. The others couldn't believe that he was so humble with such skills. They will take you roughly from this immortal. Great virtue is pretense, and great evil is true good. The so-called heavenly destiny is just words. If one cannot get rid of the Chosen One directly, then one is left to go against one's principles and pretend to be a good person in order to become better than the Chosen One himself. He absorbed the devilous body and sealed her, saying that she would definitely not harm anyone now. He remembered their conversations about her being in cahoots with someone. The man explained that Chuyang of the Qinshuan Order was in a conspiracy with the demon lord. He pointed his finger at Ye Qinchan and suggested that he kill her first so that she would not inform the others. After they returned, his order would go to deal with the Qinshuan Order to exterminate all the demons. She kept saying that there's no way Brother Chuyang could have conspired with the demon. That's a load of crap. Ling Xiao summoned a formless warrior. He ordered him to destroy every demon of the northern wastelands. The guy who saw this was shocked. It was unbelievable that this person could summon a shapeless warrior. After that, he flew away. Ling Xiao explained that this girl had fought with them and received quite a few injuries. Even if the Qinshuan Order had contacted demons, she probably had nothing to do with it. However, the guy kept thinking that the Qinshuan Order had really messed with the demons. Ling Xiao replied that he had already sent people to get rid of the demons of the northern wastelands. If their order really is in cahoots with demons, he'll check it out just fine. After which he threateningly smiled and asked what these guys were talking about. The guys started to claim that Chu Yang had contacted the demons out of personal interest. It was true, because Yue Zuchen had just tried to kill Lady Ye. It was unlikely that she knew anything. after which they started to gush that the Lord was so wise, cool, and noble. Qin-chan thanked the Lord. After all, if it wasn't for his nobility, she would no longer be in this world. Ling Xiao replied that he was merely acting on the honor of his conscience. But it would be better to tell her about the situation with Chu Yang, if she didn't mind. The girl replied that she had nothing to hide. Chu Yang was the young master of the Qin Xuan order. Today they were to go to the mountains together and agreed to meet at the Chanyun mountain. She even swore with her own life that brother Chu Yang would definitely not betray their order. Ling Xiao only realized that she had a lot of trust in Chu Yang. The guy also remarked that it was getting late and needed to heal her wounds soon. He suggested that we make a pass here. The cave seems empty, but nothing will disturb their rest here. Qin-chan thanked him for taking care of her. Also, Ling Xiao mentioned that no one would interfere with them here, whereupon he told Mrs. Yi to undress. There was a look of horror on her face, for she did not understand at all what had happened to the gentleman. The guy mentioned that if he says to undress, then he means to undress. She couldn't believe that this man had just acted so honorable. Was he really faking it all this time? If she dared to refuse him, not only her, but the entire Qinshuan order would be in trouble. She mentally apologized to her father and brother Chu Yang. Tears flowed from her eyes. The system reported that Ling Xiao's behavior matched that of the villains. The system also reported that he had gotten 300 villain points. Now the guy's hunch was confirmed. Villains need to behave in an appropriate manner to become stronger. She asked for the master to be slower. The girl couldn't take it anymore. After which she spat out black blood. Ling Xiao informed her that now there was no more poison in her body and her wounds should heal soon. It was only then that Qin Chang realized that he wanted her to undress for the one to heal her wounds. She had simply misunderstood him. The guy held out a third-grade elixir to her. When the girl ate it, the recovery should go faster. She thanked him for it. Ling Xiao knows Ji or medicine. No matter what her injuries are after using his medicine, she will be healed. He also earned a small amount, the number of villain points only touching a few times. This is a man so elegant and beautiful. How could he even look at a simple woman like her? And what on earth was she thinking? The system sent a notification that the host had broken the girl's heart and received 500 villain points. Afterward, Qing-chan slept near the fire. Ling Xiao covered her with his clothes. There is one more thing that there is to take care of before going to the Chosen One. He released the demoness. She felt that there was a heavenly oppressive power in his body, and it wasn't something a person from the 4 devastated lands should possess. There was even a hint of demonic intent. Ling Xiao explained that the one who would ask the questions was him, and she would only have to answer. Let her tell him everything about herself and Chu Yang. However, she couldn't tell him anything. Does this guy think that Yue Zuchen doesn't know that he is targeting Chu Yang? He saved that girl just because she was related to Chu Yang. He only grinned at the mention that she did indeed have a backbone. After which he activated the ancient art of soul absorption on the demoness. Now she'll tell everything she knows about Chu Yang. She said yes. Qin Chang came out to him in the morning and gave him his clothes. She also wished him good morning. Ling Xiao inquired if she had slept well last night. The girl answered that she did. She fell asleep before she realized it. Qin Chan didn't even remember being covered by his clothes. Since her wounds should have healed by now, he offered to ride on his end of the skeleton. We need to reach the Zhuangjian sect by noon. The girl didn't understand which skeleton horse he was talking about. Then the guy snapped his fingers. His horse began to reincarnate, after which they set off on their journey. Ling Xiao only thought that the end of the Chosen One was near. Meanwhile, Chu Yang was training his disciples into orders. After that, he heard the voices of Qin Chang. The guy immediately turned around as he was happy to see her. However, in the blink of an eye, his expression changed. Qin Chan happily informed Chu Yang's brother that she had returned. He immediately inquired if she was all right. The girl replied that she was fine. Thanks to Ling Xiao, she returned in one piece. Chu Yang inquired as to who this Ling Xiao was. At that moment, Ling Xiao intervened and found out that it was the same Chu Yang. Ling Xiao introduced himself. What luck to meet him so soon. Qin Chan talked about him a lot yesterday. These words infuriated Chu Yang. He told Ling Xiao not to pretend like he knew this girl, and also inquired about who he was. He better explain himself now, or else Chu Yang wouldn't vouch for himself. Ling Xiao was only glad that he had fallen for his ploy. It's rare to see Chu Yang so flustered. Even low-grade authors avoid cheating on the main character. Although, on the other hand, it's one of his weaknesses. Qin Chang asked Chu Yang's brother not to be rude to him. If that person did not defeat Yue Zuchen, she would suffer greatly. Ling Xiao is her savior. He couldn't believe that Zuchen had been defeated by this guy. It was amazing, because 4 devastated Earths wouldn't be able to withstand his cultivation. He took the girl's hand and told her that there was no need to chat with him. Chu Yan wanted to take her to the cultivation room. After all, she was tired and needed to take a break. However, Ling Xiao stopped them, for he started talking about this time. The disciples of the sect outside the ruins accused Chu Yang of colluding with Demon Empress Yue Zuchen. Therefore, he would not go anywhere until he told everything. Chu Yang turned around and asked if he wanted to fight. A teacher came out to them and asked Chu Yang why he wasn't practicing to argue with someone. Ling Xiao recognized it as an elder of the Yi sect. The old man replied that it was true. He is Ye Liu Yun, the 18th generation patriarch of the Qinyun Sword Order, and one of the outstanding swordsmen of the Northern Desert, and also the head of the Ye family. After which we inquired about who this guy was. Ling Xiao introduced himself, and also mentioned that he was from the Sacred Lands and the Ling family. The old man's face immediately changed when he realized about the Sacred Lands and the Ling family, and that the master of the Supreme Tao, Ling Xiao, was standing in front of him. Liu Yun replied to Mr. Lin that they would set the table and invite him. However, the guy replied that there was no need to do that. Some believe that Chu Yang and Qin Xuan sects are in conspiracy with the Demon Empress Yue Zucheng. But Qin Chang denies this, so he was tasked to find out the truth. He asked Elder Ye for his cooperation. Meanwhile, the elder obeyed Ling Xiao and sent Chu Yang here without further ado. Qin Chang came to him. The guy immediately ran up to the grate and asked if she had come for him. However, she replied that she had brought food. Chu Yang asked that Qin Chan believed that he wasn't conspiring with demons. Qin Chan took his hand, saying that she believes him. They've known each other for so long and she knows the guy would never mess with that demon. Ling Xiao will definitely find out this truth to restore Chu Yang's reputation. Chu Yang didn't like that she was talking about Ling Xiao again. After all, he's just a handsome man from the land of the saints. Doesn't she see his evil intentions? As much as the girl wanted to justify him, Chu Yang didn't want to hear it. When she sees Ling Xiao's true face, she will realize that he was right. The girl only remained silent, after which she left. It can no longer continue like this. Qin Chang and the elder fooled by this Ling Xiao. He needs to take his mind off it. Chu Yang called out to Min Feng. From his amulet, the ghost of a girl appeared and asked if he wanted to finally talk. Chu Yang asked her to teach him the techniques of her order. But if he learns this technique, he will never be able to get back on track again. Chu Yan thought that Ling Xiao was up to something. This guy is a definite threat. Ling Xiao will definitely kill him if Chu Yang leaves it like this. Lingerie. He should definitely become stronger. Of course, at this moment, Ling Xiao was already watching him. He noticed that the protagonist is puzzled and imprisoned, but meets with a secret master to learn the ultimate martial art. It could be assumed that Min Feng is his trump card. Ling Xiao was only thinking about how he should subdue her after he kills Chu Yang. Afterward, there was a knock at his door, and the guy said to come in. It was Qin Chang who greeted Lord Lin. Ling Xiao asked what was wrong since she had come to him so late. She asked not to take brother Chu Yang's rudeness to heart. He's probably just angry because of the confinement. Ling Xiao replied that he's not worried about that. But the guy also noticed that there was a strong aura emanating from Chu Yan. I guess he wasn't conspiring with demons after all. He asked me to give him 2 days. Ling Xiao will help Chu Yun get his name back. She can be sure of that. These words struck Qin Chang deeply. She was pleased to hear that. Not only is he noble, but he also wants to help his brother regain his reputation. Unfortunately, brother Chu Yang towards Lord Ling Xiao is not only rude, but also speaks ill of him. This is just too much. The system reports that the soulmate is disappointed in the favorite. The system takes away 100 luck points from the chosen one. Everything's going right according to plan. You gotta strike while the iron's hot. The guy noticed that even though the poison was no longer in her system, her breathing was still intermittent. She clearly hadn't expected him to even notice that. Ling Xiao offered to stay so he could help her stabilize her meridians. The girl thanked my lord for that. Meanwhile, they were being overheard. Chu Yang thought it was strange that somehow Sis Qin Chan didn't bring him any food today. As soon as he heard footsteps, he thought it was Qin Chan. However, it was Xiao Ji. Chu Yang wondered why he had come here. Xiao Ji replied that he had brought food. This person can't even call him brother. Xiao Ge wondered if Chu Yang, when he used his techniques to defeat him and get a spot as the first disciple, had thought that such a thing would happen. Chu Yan realized that he had only come to chat. He also said that Xiao Jie did not understand the intentions only because of his arrogance. What else would he do now but come here and bark like a downed dog? Looks like canceling cultivation wasn't enough. Next time, Chu Yan would rip out his tongue to see how he would continue to talk nonsense. He only laughed while saying that he had forgotten to tell him something. Last night, he saw Qin Chan in Master Ling Xiao's room, and this girl stayed there all night. He immediately grabbed the bars, not understanding how she dared to do that. Seeing Xiao Ji leave, he told him not to leave and to explain himself. He couldn't believe that this two-faced fool Qin Chang first said she believed him, and then climbed into that bastard's arms. He wanted to kill them both. Ming Feng advised him not to be so reckless. He has a good cultivation speed. One must wait for a couple of days, after which he would obtain a great achievement. Impulsively acting impulsively was not worth it. However, he couldn't wait, because by then they would have a bunch of kids. Min Feng said that there are many fish in the sea. One must wait for the great achievement, and then there will be many options for marriage. How can a Chuyan ruin such a moment because of some jealousy? The boy replied that he knows that. He is not worthy of Qin Chang, who is taking care of this rich kid. He still has Yue Zuchen. Qin Chang said that Ling Xiao defeated Yue Zuchen. But this is just ridiculous. He will be better at practicing. We need to find her as soon as possible. She noticed this guy's impatience. Unfortunately, he won't reach great heights. One could only hope that he could at least keep up with his mentor. The system reported that 100 fate tokens had been received for separating the Chosen One and his teammate. He noticed that Chu Yan had 300 fate tokens. The guy also remembered that he had accumulated fate tokens and villain points. He wanted to see what could be done with it. Some of the features have been shut down. He kept clicking on a function, and the system would give out that the function was not yet open. The guy started to get angry, not understanding why he couldn't do it. The system said that you have to defeat the Chosen One to unlock the system function. And if he doesn't, then the system is useless. Whereupon Yu Xiaoge entered to him, who informed the Lord that he had done all that he had been commanded to do. Xiaoge asked the Lord if there was anything else that needed to be done. In response, Ling Xiao asked why this guy was helping him. Xiaoge is the older brother of Chu Yang. The man only wanted Chu Yang to die. The master doesn't know that Chu Yang is a sworn enemy to Xiaoge. He has hated this guy for a long time. Ling Xiao guessed that this person was the previous means of achieving Chu Yang's goal. To the man with the lantern in his hands, it seemed that Mr. Ling Xiao was just trying to set up Chu Yang, and it wasn't even about him colluding with the demon. The other man, however, told him to be quiet, or else they could be heard. What do they have to be afraid of anyway? Can't someone make their way into the hall and suppress demons? He didn't even notice Yuezuken coming up behind him. He heard a noise, and thought that someone had managed to sneak in after all. Chu Yang wondered who it could be. He was approached by the Demon Empress, who informed Chu Yan that she had come here to save him. As the two ran away, Chu Yang recalled that Yue Zuchen fought with Ling Xiao and was seriously injured. The girl replied that it was true, but fortunately, she was able to escape. Suddenly, she stopped and started spitting blood. Chu Yang asked if she was all right. She only said that this Ling Xiao was very strong, plus she was also injured. Chu Yan had heard rumors that Ling Xiao came from the Saintlands above the 4 devastated lands. Yue Zuchen confirmed these rumors, and also added that she was not equal to him in strength. Chu Yan put his arm around her, saying that he wouldn't let her get hurt. To the girl, this guy was the strongest. Chu Yan suggested that they run away from here together, and leave this cursed place behind. However, she didn't like the idea that his teacher and little sister might find out that she was the one who had saved him. Chu Yan only got angry, saying that Qin Chang was just a fool who was waving her tail in front of the Lord from the Holy Lands. This wench is not worthy of him, and Ye Lu Yun has become an obedient dog of Ling Xiao who will chop off his head sooner or later. Yue Zuken replied that it was enough. Chu Yan did not understand what she meant at all. After that, he heard Ling Xiao's voice saying that it was a great show. Finally, Chu Yang had shown his true colors. Chu Yan didn't understand at all how they ended up here so quickly. But then the thought came into his mind that they might have known in advance that Chu Yang would run here. He turned to Yue Zuchen, asking how she could have done this. Only then did he notice that she had been controlled from the very beginning by the ancient art of soul absorption. Qin Chan stated that she trusted this guy after all. It seems that trusting him was her biggest mistake from the beginning. Ye Liu Yun began to claim that Chu Yang's conspiracy with the demon was his doing. It has nothing to do with the sect, because that person is no longer in his sect. Ling Xiao replied that he knows all this. Chu Yang's plot concerns him alone. Xiaoji started shouting, and to everyone, that Chu Yang had conspired with the demons and betrayed the sect. He called him a traitor. No one could think that Chu Yan was such a person. If it wasn't for Mr. Ling Xiao, they would have never even known about it. And some even realized long ago that this guy was on the side of the demons. Everyone who had always appreciated him. And he turned out to be so ungrateful. They believed that Chu Yang's failure to become the elder's successor had colluded with the demons. All the guy could think about was that these people all used to appreciate him, and now they despised him. The system reported that the Chosen One had gone over to the side of the demons, and his soul was in turmoil. The system took away 300 points from the Chosen One. Chu Yan shouted that they were just a pack of dogs that belittled others. He would kill them all. Seeing how this guy had become a demon, it was really clear now that she was in cahoots with them. Liu Yun declared that deviation from the righteousness of treason. This old man, who is the elder of the Xuanjian sect and the head of the Ye family, wanted to execute this traitor. He immediately got close to the old man and punched him straight in the face. Not sure why he was being so dramatic about everything. Afterward, he heard Ye Qinchang screaming and wanted to kill her. She was pushed away by Ling Xiao, who told the girl to run. Xu Yang only laughed with Togo that the rich boy wanted to die. Qinchan was worried about Master. Ling Xiao told everyone to get out of here, and they'd better not mess with Chu Yang's demonic body. He wanted to cover for them. However, Qinchan didn't want to leave him alone. Ling Xiao replied that everything happened because of him, so he would deal with it himself. You shouldn't worry, because everything will be fine. After which the others ran away. Chu Yan thought that now that the others were gone, Ling Xiao would be easier to kill. First, he would bring them Ling Xiao's head and make it seem like taking his side was an incredibly stupid decision. Then, he'll kill the rest of her. He will brutally torture him, chop him to pieces, make him suffer before letting him die. Ling Xiao was only glad that they had finally left. Chu Yan wondered if this guy was listening to him at all. Ling Xiao drew his sword, saying that since everyone else had left, then the master could teach him something. They are villains after all, so it's not clear how they can't kill their opponents. Today is the very day when Chu Yang will become a demonic cultivator. Once he defeats this lord himself of the Holy Lands, then his secret will be protected, and all those who humiliated him will be on their knees before him. But even this time it didn't work out. Ling Xiao advised him to stop sleeping, and also inquired about how he could drain the demonic spirit. Chu Yan replied to him not to be impertinent so early. Today, he would use the blood demon technique. Fresh blood is his weapon, and once the blood demons wanted to attack Ling Xiao, he easily dealt with them. He drew his sword only to spear the others. These little ones didn't expect this turn of events at all. Xu Yan wondered what they were doing. They should kill that bastard, right? But the way his blood demons fell down before Ling Xiao surprised him. Chu Yan didn't understand at all where her pride and willpower had gone. How could these blood demons bow down to him? Ling Xiao mentioned that in demonic cultivation the weak always bowed down and the strong obeyed. They even bow before the master from the Holy Lands. Isn't there something wrong here? Chu Yang sent that fucking rich boy. He only relies on his sword. If it wasn't for him, Ling Xiao wouldn't even be able to compare to Chu Yang. In that case, Ling Xiao threw him a heaven-level treasure. Also, the guy asked if he would now say that Ling Xiao was humiliating him. He couldn't even believe the fucking idiot was throwing such a weapon carelessly. He's really inept. He summoned 10,000 rebirths of the blood demon. His demonic body has increased his strength tenfold, and with the heavenly treasure in his hands, he is 100 times stronger. This time, with the help of the Ling Xiao, he will be able to reach the supreme power. However, before he could do anything, he was immediately pierced by Ling Xiao with his fist. Chu Yang's memory flashed back to his childhood. He is an orphan, and has been abused since he was a child. He labored to rub the noses of those who humiliated him. The same guy had to marry a Qinchang before he could take the path of domination, so he didn't understand at all how he had gotten to this result. Chu Yan inquired whether he was demon or human. Ling Xiao assumed that all so-called protagonists defeat villains with absolute power. But in fact, only a bad author gives them such power. And once his fate scores get close to 0, he will immediately show his true colors. The system reported that the owner's chatter had increased, and now matched the villain's style. 500 villain points were gained. Suddenly the guy remembered that villains die from talking a lot. Therefore, he wouldn't do that again. After which he decided to strike one last blow. He was finally able to end the Chosen One. He wondered what the system would say. The system reported that the owner had killed the Chosen One and destroyed his fate points. Ling Xiao was very tense about the system's decision that he was about to endure. Fortunately, it was a success. The system congratulated him on completing the task. 4,000 villain points had been obtained. Ling Xiao was happy that he was finally able to take revenge. He remembered that Chu Yang had some trump card in the demon suppression hall. After that, he saw that very necklace. Ling Xiao fought this guy for half a day, and she never came to his rescue. He decided to take it with him and deal with it later. Now we need to continue to pretend that he is an elegant gentleman. We also need to find Qin Chang and the others. The student reported that the teacher could no longer hold on. Qin Chan asked Dad to hold on for a while. They were almost back. After which, Ling Xiao jumped over to them and reported that he had dealt with Chu Yan. But he didn't even notice that at this moment, he landed right on Elder Yi Lu Yun. The disciples were worried about the teacher who had already given up his spirit. Qin Chan fainted. After which, the guy lifted the elder up and gave him some medicine. He immediately perked up and felt that it was hot, especially in his kidneys. But his energy returned. He felt that he could flirt with anyone 7 times a night, even in front of an open window, even on a mountain peak, and at the bottom of the sea. Qin Chang was glad that Dad was okay. The man bowed before Mr. Ling Xiao, saying that the Xuanjian sect would never forget his kindness. His sect has raised such an alarm, and he's also dragging Master into it. Chu Yang is in league with the demons. The man suggested that their future was not bright. Ling Xiao asked if Elder Ye was afraid of the northern desert demons. But there was no need to worry, because he had already sent people to deal with the demons walking around there. And he will also convey to the people in the Holy Lands that the Sectoa of Swordsmen and Xuanjian together destroy demons. The lands of the saints will reward them for this feat. It was beginning to seem to the guy that sometimes being nice wasn't so bad. The system reported that a happy ending was received and a new feature was opened. Ling Xiao thought that getting rid of other authors' main characters was so cool. He wanted to show a real story for all the lame authors who only help the main character. He then wanted to look at a new system feature. As it turns out, a gacha system has been discovered. 100 villain points could be exchanged for 1 gacha, and 10 gacha points would give the villain 1 free gacha. Ling Xiao only had bad memories of it, but he pushed those thoughts away from him, saying that he had already changed. He wasn't the same person he used to be. After which he decided to spin. But the more he spun, the more he realized his luck wasn't so good. In 40 scrolls, he got 1 purple, 3 blue, and 5 green. He realized it was a lost cause. Since his luck wasn't good enough, Ling Xiao decided to use forbidden techniques. This sculpture is the highest point. Therefore, it is the best place to scroll in the gacha. The villain's points are not enough for 10 scrolls. It's time for a 1-roll miracle. But the gacha didn't see it that way, after which the rest of the medicine fell out to him. Because of such a mishap, Ling Xiao began to fall off the statue. Qin Chan saw the gentleman fall down. The girl helped him up and asked what the gentleman was doing. Suddenly he noticed that a golden legendary weapon had fallen out to him. The name of this weapon times had changed. Its range was very long. However, its attack speed was very slow with a rollback of 24 hours. But it could ignore defenses. He just couldn't believe his eyes while the girl inquired again if the gentleman was all right. Ling Xiao didn't understand at all why there was a cannon in the fantasy world. Wouldn't she be weak? However, this cannon was by no means weak. Ye Liuyun didn't understand how this could be. It took his sect 23 generations to reinforce the defense building, and a building that was unrivaled in all the devastated lands had almost collapsed. He asked the gentleman if he had seen anyone. Ling Xiao replied that he had gone there. The man ran away and so didn't notice the Ling Xiao weapon he was hiding behind his back. After which, he turned his attention to Qin Chan, who was laughing. She was surprised that this gentleman didn't know how to lie. Ling Xiao didn't even know what to say to that. The girl noticed that the usually gentleman was calm, elegant, and collected like a magnanimous immortal. But who knew he had such a sweet side? Ling Xiao covered himself and asked for it to stop. He let Qin Chang help himself and got a golden gun. So the guy decided to give her his unique purple pill. However, he saw that it was a rather unique pill. The word uniqueness kept bugging him. So he decided to give her another pill. All the guy could think about was that he was too greedy. Instead of the purple one, he gave her the green one. He also wondered if the heroine who had 600 fate points could improve with this pill. After that, the girl ate the pill, and she was able to elevate herself in an instant oka. Her clothes also changed. Ling Xiao simply couldn't believe his eyes. She thanked the master for this. Ye Xinchang instantly felt the true qi in her body begin to move more smoothly. It seems that he has given her just the right amount to get her closer to exaltation. This master is like a blessing to her. Ling Xiao couldn't believe that he had given her the first pill he could find and she was able to rise to the top. Isn't it like finding a needle in a haystack? The guy was starting to figure out that he was just here to give her the pill. That's pretty insulting. He took the lemon in his hand, thinking about the fact that he was able to help the chosen one. Afterward, he squashed the lemon, barely holding back tears as he thought about the fact that he had helped the chosen one. She kneeled down, saying that the Lord had saved her life and helped the sect get rid of the demons, and also gave her the opportunity to rise. She can't thank her enough for this kindness. The girl knows that her cultivation is weak, and it's hard for her to attract the Lord's attention. But Qin-chan wants to serve him to repay him for all this. She really hoped the master would accept her. Ling Xiao sensed the falseness in her words. Therefore, he assumed that it was the wench who wanted to use him. She told me that from childhood she had aspired to ape the personal and great lands of the saints. She hoped that she could grow up and be elevated like her elders. But the older she got, the more she realized that her natural talent was not enough to rise up and become immortal. Qin-chan could only forget about her childhood dream and prepare to marry for the good of the sect, and live as an elder's wife. But the appearance of the Lord revived her desire. She followed Ling Xiao, realizing that the land of saints was not just a dream. So she started to get greedy and decided to overstep her bounds. Ling Xiao also sat down in front of her, talking about why not. He would let her take advantage of him at least once. She hadn't expected such words from the Lord at all. This girl has to do her best. To put a cross on myself, leaving my dreams only dreams, is a big mistake. Ye Fan knew that Feng Jiao Ao had broken off the engagement, causing the clan elders to be furious. From now on, Ye Fan's residence was moved to the inner courtyard. They also asked the guy not to blame them for the fact that he was born with a defect and couldn't cultivate. The Yi family raised him as a tribute to his dead father. But the boy has become a disgrace to the Yi family, so he deserves it. Ye Fan only thought about the fact that his father fought, built half a mountain for the Ye family, and after his father's death, they want to throw him out. 30 years of Hedong, 30 years of Hexi, he cannot be called weak. He has already awakened the 8th devastated tower in his body. When he finishes his cultivation and becomes a source of strength, he will make all of them kneel. Ling Xiao swept his eyes over the fact that this was the next election he would need to deal with. He knows the trope of a failed marriage. The protagonist can't cultivate, so his fiancée despises him and breaks off the engagement, which awakens the protagonist's desire to become stronger and rub everyone's nose in it. But the key point of such stories is that in the end, the protagonist still ends up wiping the bride's nose. If the system indicates that he is the next chosen one, Ling Xiao was curious about their relationship. Xiaogyu arrived at his place and informed him that there was trouble in the front yard of the sect. Ye Liuyun explained that although the traitor of the Qin Xuan sect had taken the path of a demon, they had already dealt with the problem. Therefore, he was very curious to know what the 8th sect was doing here. The man wondered if Brother Ye had a guilty conscience. The man called the man Nan Batian. He explained again that Chuyan had contacted the demons on his own, and they had nothing to do with it. Batian wondered if he thought the man would believe this nonsense. If the Qin Xuan sect hasn't encountered any demons, then let them pass. They will check it out for themselves. He didn't know what old man Batian had in mind, but he just wants to find an excuse to infiltrate the Qin Xuan sect and take their treasures. But since he thinks so, let him catch the axe if he can. Ling Xiao was easily able to chop down this man's axe. The others were shocked that this guy was able to chop Nan Batian's axe. It was the same man from the Batian dynasty. Liu Yun was almost crying with happiness that the master had come just in time. He'd heard that a master from the Holy Lands was almost invincible. It must be true. But that was just a simple magic weapon. Now he was holding the 9th sword of heavenly destiny, a supreme magic weapon. A divine weapon whose power was comparable to a sea of souls. He really wanted to see what the Lord from the Land of Saints could do with it. Ling Xiao took out her golden cannon and fired. He explained to this man that times had changed, but he was really waiting to say that phrase. Did he really think to defeat Ling Xiao with some green weapon? Everyone now understood that this master was powerful. His shot has the power of the immortal realm. But also, some also didn't understand how Ba Tian was defeated with just one strike. Could it be that this fellow had reached the Sea of Souls realm? But then why does he seem so weak? Ling Xiao inquired if there was anyone else who wanted to fight him. The man explained that this gentleman had misunderstood. Ba Tian threatened them and forced them to participate in the takeover of the Qin Xuan sect. He even decided to give the meteor sword butterfly, which was his sect's treasure, as a gift. after which he began to beg for forgiveness. The others were a bit surprised that he kneeled before this guy, after which they kneeled down themselves as well. The Huan Yuan sect gives the Lord a heaven-shattering hammer. It's a divine weapon. And the Da Huan dynasty offers a sacred fire talisman in hopes of Lord's generosity. Ling Xiao thought it was nice of them to show him their respect. But why are they giving away recyclable gear? He's got more than enough of it. He asked Elder Yi to help hold them off for a while. The old lady tried to stop the gentleman, saying that the Gan Mei sect had a gift for him. A saint of the Gan Mei clan, namely Feng Jiao wanted to serve him. Ling Xiao recognized that it was the same bride of Yifan. He took her hand and led the way, saying that he had a few questions for her as well. Jiao couldn't believe that the master was in such a hurry. People are watching after all. They were followed by a worried Qin Chan. Ling Xiao inquired about her relationship with Ye Fan. The girl revealed that they were once engaged, but the engagement has now been broken off. At this moment, Ling Xiao realized that she broke off the engagement of her own free will. The girl replied that it was true. Her master had once said that with her sex charm technique, they must not lose their purity, otherwise all efforts would be in vain. So she asked the elders to return home and break the engagement. However, the guy was sure that it wasn't just because of her sex techniques that she broke off the engagement. He wondered since when did the charm technique disappear after the loss of innocence. Besides, absorbing male yang energy increases one's strength. Once she found out that Ye Fan couldn't cultivate, she began to think that this guy wasn't worthy of her. That was probably why she cancelled everything. Jiao was silent in response. Ling Xiao realized that he had hit it right on the spot. The plot of the cancelled engagement. The bride who despises the chosen one so that later he can show her what he can do. Although the value of Feng Jiao to the plot is quite high, the value of her destiny is very low. She is not someone the chosen one will care about first. The saint replied that she knew what the gentleman was worried about. Since the engagement broke off, Yifan hasn't laid a finger on her. If the master doesn't believe it, he can check for himself. Qin Chan burst in there and said, "I'm there morally." She saw the whole situation and asked the master if she had come here at the wrong time. The girl thought it was the end. After all, she had entered in the middle of it and disturbed the master's rest. Now he would hate her for sure. She was immediately approached by Ling Xiao, who replied that she was just in time. He mentioned that Qin Chang is from the Yi family. Then perhaps she is acquainted with Yifan. The girl replied that this guy is her cousin. After which, she looked at the saint, saying that he was the former fiancé of Feng Jiao. Qin Chan also asked the gentleman why he was asking about it. Still, Ling Xiao's hunch was confirmed. After he tied up Yifan and Qin Chang, the value of Yifan's fate increased by 100. Although this is not enough, it is enough to illuminate the problem. Judging from the typical plot, Feng Jiao is so selfish that Yifan seemed to be disappointed with his bride. And then chose another one, and it was Ye Qin Chang. Who would have thought that this girl would be the object of both of the chosen one's affection? She seems to be very popular. Saint mentioned that she knows a lot about Yifan. If the master is interested, they can talk about it. She doesn't know why Ling Xiao is interested in Yifan, but it is good since she has an opportunity to strengthen her relationship with him. He pushed her away, telling her that it was not worth it. She could go now, because he didn't need anything else. He also mentioned that he really dislikes amateurism. Ling Xiao wanted to ask Qin Chang about her cousin, so they would go. This made Feng Jiao very angry. At night, the guy thought about the fact that he had completely deprived his chosen love interest. But something was bothering him. The 4 devastated lands are destitute compared to the land of saints. Even the treasures the strongest cultivators can offer are only of green and white rarity. He wondered why the true owner of this body had descended to the 4 devastated lands and even closed his world. Perhaps it was related to the true body of the divine demon within himself. The true body of a divine demon is taboo in the Holy Lands and devastated lands. The true body owner wants to solve this problem, and there are only 2 ways. Expel the true body of the divine demon from his body. Suppress and then seal it or show the true power of the divine demon body. Become a supreme demon emperor and destroy all living things. The question is what the true owner of the body wanted to do. He has yet to deal with the pendant he received then. Ming Feng is very persistent. It's been so long and she hasn't even exhaled. Ling Xiao had been fighting with Chu Yang for half a day, and she still hadn't come to help. Still, he wanted to deal with it again later. Let him wait until he returns to the land of the saints. Now we must go to Qing Feng to find out. Ye Lu Yun advised Mr. Ling Xiao and Qin Chang to be careful on the way to Qin Feng. She said goodbye to her father and thanked him for his guidance. After which they flew away. Ye Fan couldn't believe that he had found a treasure map here, and this treasure map was hidden in the fish. Looking at this map, one would assume it is unfinished. A blank map with no directions or place of direction. Yo should be used in conjunction with an explanatory object to locate the hidden treasure, whereupon he remarked, "Mr. Ling Xiao's ship is from the land of saints." Others praised this ship, saying that the Ling family was a famous clan with the land of saints. It would be strange if they didn't have such a ship. Ye Fan knew that he was far away from the Lord from the land of saints. He was approached by a man who inquired what Yi Fan was worth here. Mr. Ling Xiao came to the family, and the head of the family organized a banquet. He asked for Yi Fan to come and greet Mr. Ling Xiao. After which, he mentioned that Yi Qinchang's cousin had come along with him. The guy didn't expect that Yi Qinchang was also here. The man asked the gentleman how he liked the 82-year-old wine. He was also offered local chickens. The gentleman's spiritual energy of earth and heaven would be replenished when he ate another one. Qinchan decided to feed him herself while Jiao Er poured him a drink. If their master wanted something, he would just have to let the others know. Afterwards, they all laughed it off. He couldn't believe that a lord from the land of the saints was extravagant, impudent, and lustful. It seems that the so-called lords from famous families are all the same. Ling Xiao remembered Jiao Er's words about the groom called Yi Fan. He had now convinced himself that he was handsome. The saint asked the master to stop joking. The man said that Feng Jiao Er was the pride of the northern wilderness. How could some Yi Fan who was born without strength be worthy of her? They had broken off their engagement a long time ago. Yi Fan, listening to all this, only squeezed his clothes. After that, the guy also decided to have a drink. Ling Xiao told Qin Chang to come to his room tonight so he could show her the new techniques. The girl agreed. He realized that he had better forget Feng Jiao Er because she was the kind of person who would spread her legs for money. But he also wondered how Qin Chan had become so close to this guy. What kind of spell did Ling Xiao put on her? He turned to cousin Afeng, saying that Qin Chang had said a lot about him. And what Ling Xiao likes the most is his intransigence. He doesn't give up even though he was born without cultivation abilities. This is how all cultivators should behave. He promised to find a way to cure the guy in the ancient sects of the land of saints with thousands of years of heritage. Seeing him remain silent, the others inquired why he was doing nothing. Ye Fan should thank the master. He pulled a smile on his face and thanked the Lord for his concern. If their master could really solve his problem, then Yi Fan would be indebted to one. Ling Xiao offered a drink. He realized that this guy was patient, as he didn't even give in to his obvious provocation. This chosen one is very interesting. The man asked to take the gentleman and lady to the guest room. Ling Xiao told the gentleman there that he had business in Qingfeng, so he asked to take him in. If he needs anything, let him ask. He thought it was too pathetic to flatter people who had power. Then he left. If a fan wants to fight Ling Xiao, one must become stronger. Now the treasure his mother had placed in his sea of knowledge would come in handy. He closed his eyes, after which he moved to the abandoned tower of 8 colors. And he was met by a demonic ape, who remarked that he was the most spineless man he'd ever met. He sits still even when his girlfriend is in the arms of another. Ye Fan advised the demonic ape not to say what he shouldn't say. Also, let him not forget that he is just a demonic being imprisoned in the abandoned tower of 8 colors. His life is now in Ye Fan's hands. He came down and also mentioned he was just kidding. Also, the demonic ape mentioned that he had an idea. The boy wondered what idea he was talking about. It's pretty simple. You just need to release the demonic monkey, and then Yi Fan will see him destroy that guy. He pushed the monkey away from him, talking about how he should stop daydreaming. Demonic ape says that because he is imprisoned in the tower. If Ye Fan releases him, the first thing he will do is kill Ye Fan. It seems like Demon Monkey's plan has been revealed. Well, then don't say the Demon Monkey didn't warn you. An ominous demonic aura emanates from Ling Xiao's body. This aura makes you tremble, demonic ape, although he has met many demons before. And if Yi Fan suddenly becomes his target, one must be careful. Ye Fan realized that even an ancient demonic ape couldn't see anything through the demonic aura. He was very curious to know what Ling Xiao was hiding. It's clear now that we need to speed up the search for miracles. I had a bad feeling. The next day, he used a spell to sense it, so the keys about the treasure map should be on that counter. After which he found an iron plate with the image of a dragon on it. The boy asked how much it was worth. The shopkeeper replied that this trinket was worth 5 spirit stones. At the same time, Ling Xiao watched the new protagonist. Ye Fan was glad that even though this treasure was hidden, it was not deep. However, it's hard to find. It was a box with a compressed spirit pill inside. If he took this pill, he could become stronger. Here he was unable to obtain another weapon against Ling Xiao. Of course, the most important thing was to find another treasure. The treasure on the dragon's tail was also unexpected, and it's a great elixir. So the treasure on the dragon's head should be even better. Ling Xiao only laughed with Togo that Yi Fan was a wonderful treasure seeker. Before the death of the previous owner of the body, he too had sent people on a treasure hunt, for he wanted to find the divine demonic creature. But being a villain, luck was not on his side. As time went on, Ling Xiao became more restless. But things are different now. Now that he has a treasure hunter, there will be no more problems. Yi Fan took the pill and felt something amazing. He didn't expect this pill to be so powerful. Not only did the pill help to elevate himself, but it also unlocked the first level of the abandoned 8 Colors Tower. Previously, he couldn't completely control the demonic ape, Mi Yun. But now he wasn't afraid of her at all. It was as if Ling Xiao knew it. After all, how could a chosen one have no secrets at all? With that precedent, the search would be a breeze. However, he didn't even notice the hands reaching for him. He didn't realize what it was at all, yet he was pulled into some sort of abyss. Ling Xiao wondered where he was, even assumed it was his consciousness. If calmly pondered, his only mystery is the divine demon within him. These 9 holes are the 9 cycles through which the body of the divine demon has passed. The divine demon began to demand to give up his body. Ling Xiao wondered if this was really a divine demon. The divine demon began to claim that this guy was unworthy of his body. He's the only one who can empower him. He demanded to give up his body and then he would die quickly. Otherwise, he would pull the soul out of this guy, and he would never be able to be reborn again. It was as if the divine demon wanted to devour him completely. Suddenly, Li Xiao woke up, not realizing what was happening or if it was really a dream. He speculated that the divine demon might have destroyed his consciousness, and he also noticed that Yi Fan had already escaped. It was only then that he turned his attention to his arm, with which something was happening. Its hand began to strangle his own. Ling Xiao didn't understand what was happening at all. Divine Demon mentioned that the brat refused to speak, toasting only to drink a penalty. And if he doesn't grow, he will suffer. The Divine Demon required Ling Xiao to beg him, after which he would die. Ling Xiao asked the idiot how he could even let him go now. He noticed that the Divine Demon was serious about taking his body, so he decided to check something out for that matter. After which a heavy gunshot rang out. He returned to the city on horseback and also hid his badly injured arm. But fortunately, he was able to suppress the Divine Demon's consciousness, and the worst didn't happen. His appearance greatly surprised Ling Xiao. He wondered if it was possible that the seal had weakened. It looked to me like the demon had actually consumed his consciousness. The guy asked me not to say it had anything to do with a fan. He realized that he had to hurry. The mystery of Yi Fan's body had an 80% chance of being connected to a divine demon. If he relaxed, it would lead to a good ending where the chosen one killed the villain. Suddenly, the townspeople noticed that the sky was beginning to collapse. They thought something terrible was going to happen. That's where the divine messenger Qingjin arrived. The divine messenger of the upper world of the Holy Lands introduced himself. He had descended to the lower world of the 4 devastated lands to find a divine demon. He told the townspeople of the 4 devastated lands that if they knew anything about the heavenly demon, they should report it immediately. Otherwise, they will be punished just like the divine demon himself. Ling Xiao only grinned, saying that it would be a disaster. Ye Fan couldn't even think that a demon would appear in the 4 devastated lands. But fortunately, the divine messenger had already arrived. However, he decided to concentrate to open the abandoned 8 Colors Tower. And then, he might be able to subdue the divine demon before the messenger. And that demon would belong to him. Suddenly he heard footsteps and immediately hid the stone slab, asking who was here. His cousin, namely Akin Chang, arrived at his place. The guy realized she just wanted to share the wine with him. Plus, he was happy to be reminded of what he loved. That was very nice of her. Qin-chan wondered how she could have forgotten that. When the guy was beaten by Ishan and his gang, didn't she heal his wounds and secretly bring him drinks? Yi Fan only laughed, saying that she still remembered it. Suddenly he noticed that something was wrong with her hand. The girl replied that it was fine. Ye Fan replied that there was no need to worry, as he would protect her. He also had something he wanted to ask her. Namely, what did Ling Xiao do to her that she clung to him so tightly the entire banquet? The Ye Qin-chan he remembered was different. She advised her cousin not to provoke Ling Xiao. Not only is the lord involved in debauchery, but he is also a womanizer who has caused many innocent girls in the Qinshuan sect to suffer. But no one in the 4 devastated lands dares to disobey him. Then she said that what upset him. She beat her so badly that Qinchan even hurt her hand. Ye Fan was beyond angry. She asked that cousin and take her along with her. Qinchan even offered to leave Qingfeng together. The girl was willing to follow him anywhere. Ye Fan replied that he would definitely save her. But not now. She would just have to wait a couple days. The girl tearfully agreed. After which, Qinchan handed him the jade pendant of her ancestors. It could be broken into 2 pieces and they would feel each other. Qinchan knows he's having difficulties right now. It's just that if the day comes again when Ling Xiao lays a hand on her, all she has to do is hope for her cousin. Ye Feng clenched the jade pendant with anger. He asked him to give him just a little time. Once he ascended and killed Ling Xiao, he would take her away from here. It's amazing that he can keep his composure even in this state. It's hard to deal with a chosen one who knows how to hold back. The girls reincarnated. As it turned out, it was Ling Xiao. He realized that compared to the reckless Chu Yang, this one would be more capable. This type of conniving and selfish chosen one is unknown to what they are capable of. The saint gave Sister Qinchan a spring blue tea that was brought from the blue bamboo mountain. She also wondered how Sis was getting along so well with young Master Ling Xiao. After all, he never smiles in the presence of people, and no one can even get close to him. But Qin Chang is an exception. She was very curious to know what exactly Sister had done to win the young lord's heart. Qin Chang looked at the saint with displeasure, saying that if she wanted to use the charm technique, she advised her to save her strength. Young Master is a noble man and not at all the type of person. The more Zhao Er tries to charm him, the more he dislikes her. She only laughed awkwardly, saying that she would heed her sister's advice. After which, she went back to her room. That girl really pisses her off. If she doesn't want to give other people advice, then it's better not to. What's the point of being righteous in the first place? She was approached by Ye Fan, who was surprised that the Holy of Holies of the Ganmei sect couldn't even seduce a man. The Holy of Holies who, with a smile on her face, asks other women for advice on seducing a man. Does she really like the prospect of being a slave so much? The girl reminded that his dear sister also belongs to young Master Ling Xiao. He's a genius from the Holy Lands, and one swipe of his finger can be a blessing for 4 devastated lands that even they can't imagine. He had better mind his own business. She asked her not to pester her, or else the young master would still misunderstand her. Ye Fan asked if she wanted to kill Ling Xiao with him. The girl doesn't expect such an offer at all. She only laughed and asked if he had been hit on the head. Now he had completely lost his mind. Could it be that just because he wants to kill young Master Ling Xiao, he also wants the saint to unite with him and die with a fan? Ye Fan laughed while saying that she was absolutely right. What kind of fool would cooperate with someone who can't win? The Tower of 8 Colors appeared behind Fang, and he wondered what she would do in the event that he was confident that he could kill Ling Xiao. After which, he welcomed her into the Tower of 8 Colors. He also wanted to introduce a demonic monkey. His character is not very good, and can even eat a girl just on a whim. She should now realize that Yi Fan is completely confident that she can kill Ling Xiao. And also, she must not forget that Jiao Er is not interested at all. What's the point of sucking up to him at all then? If she cooperates with the fan, when this is all over, they will share his entire fortune together. I was obviously a little interested in the words about sharing his fortune together. He offered her a choice, whether she would continue to serve that guy like a mongrel with no hope, or go with him and do something great. Zhou Er replied that she was willing to serve young Master a fan. He praised her for this wise choice. An intelligent person will always submit to circumstance. Her family used to say that Ye Fan was too short-sighted and very weak, but she didn't believe it at all. She's so happy to see the young master in his prime. Giving up on the marriage was her family's ideas, and it was something she didn't want to do at all. Therefore, she proposed to resume their marriage once they had sorted out Ling Xiao. He only smiled evilly, after which Yi Fan agreed. When it is over, they will definitely resume their marriage. The romance monkey mentioned that she was revealing her card in front of her so easily, so the monkey wondered if it was too dangerous. Yi Fan wondered what the monkey thought about it. Demonic Ape mentioned that this woman was just bullying a fan, saying that he was just a complete loser. But seeing his abilities, she immediately changed and started sucking up to him. So he wondered if it was normal for Yi Fan to rely on a hypocritical fool. He recognized that Feng Zhao was indeed still that hypocrite who was just going with the flow. But on the one hand, that's good too. She only held on to Ling Xiao for the sake of his wealth. Therefore, of course, she is willing to hand him over for the sake of that same wealth. As for the marriage, even though Ye Fan said it in passing, after it's over, he will silence her. But success depends solely on the demon monkey, and this time there would be no restrictions. He had already unlocked all the monkey seals, and now he must kill Ling Xiao. The demonic ape was glad that he finally knew what to do for once. With just the current cultivation level, an insect like Ling Xiao would be no problem to kill. The saint's eyes were clouded, and she revealed that Yi Fan had chosen the night after tomorrow to attack Ling Xiao with the demonic monkey. And he would come after Ling Xiao when he was not Togo waiting. He also told him to take something from the guy. Ling Xiao inquired inquiringly. She replied that it was some of his hair, bits of nails and blood, or something like that. Ling Xiao threw away her apple, saying that these things only had a few uses, after which he cut off his hair. After which he said to give it to Fang. He also asked him to tell him that Ling Xiao would train in this hall to overcome his illness. It was clear now that Ye Fan had already thought of everything, a bunch of repetitive script wanting to grab the reader's attention. Amidst all of this, there are only a few afterthoughts. It's a reckless protagonist who recovers immediately after defeat as a Chu Yang. Ling Xiao just didn't like him, and Chu Yang immediately wanted to kill him. And then there are those with a bit of intelligence, like Yi Fan. He holds back, waiting for the right moment, and then he'll let everyone who's wronged him in on his secret plan, only to finally cast his net and trap them all. Once you get caught, it's all over. It's really not a bad setup, however, and it was also a fatal mistake for Yi Fan. He ordered the wagon to be prepared. Ling Xiao is going to invite the envoy to discuss something. In the 4 devastated lands, the aura is very weak and cultivation is very mediocre. He poured water into the kettle. Ling Xiao felt that it was probably not good for him to be here. He didn't expect to meet Qing Zheng's divine messenger from the Holy Church on an official mission. Finally, some relief from boredom. Qing Zheng explained that killing the divine demon rebirths was the duty of the Holy Church. However, Ling Xiao thought that the divine messengers must be joking. If a divine demon appeared in the 4 devastated lands, the 4 divine messengers would all appear together. Therefore, he was very curious to know how it was that only Master Qin Zhen had come here, after which he held out the tea to him. The divine envoy was surprised that this guy with such insignificant strength could speak such words. Yesterday, the Holy Lord felt the aura of a divine demon appearing in the 4 devastated lands. But it was short-lived, and the demonic aura didn't even reach the 1st level. This meant that the 9 reincarnation seals of the divine demon were still in place, so it didn't need the help of other divine messengers. Qing Zheng can also kill this demon by himself. Ling Xiao wondered if the divine envoy was so confident that he didn't even think about defeat. He only laughed, saying that this scenario was not out of the question either. But if it comes to this, he's just willing to kill Ling Xiao to make amends. Ling Xiao wondered if the divine messenger was really willing to kill an innocent person, but he believes that this is not true. As a young master of the Thousand Paths Demon Order, he bullied many other people into disregarding their affiliation, causing great resentment among the people of the Holy Land. Using his status as the supreme Taoist of the Lin clan, he forced the Piao Miao sect to agree to give him a saint as a wife. Only the foolish people of the 4 devastated lands don't know who Ling Xiao is and treat him as an honored guest. With such a reputation in the Holy Land, everyone would be happy to have Qin Zhen chop off his head. He placed the golden cannon in front of him, asking if the divine messenger was afraid that his Ling Xiao parents would hunt him down. He also drew his sword, saying that divine messengers do not fear the strong. Ling Xiao was ready to shoot. However, before they could argue, a demonic ape burst in. The divine messenger immediately turned his attention to the monkey. The demonic ape immediately decided to destroy this building, wishing for Ling Xiao's death. Qing Zheng wondered if it needed to be said that he deserved it, even if the people of the 4 devastated lands wanted to kill Ling Xiao. He considered it a pity that he wouldn't be able to watch this creature tear Ling Xiao to pieces if he wasn't a demonic beast. After which, the demonic ape attacked the divine messenger. However, the Chen Zhen didn't even let himself be injured, after which he immediately stepped into the attack. The demonic ape didn't understand why this green-colored bastard was so strong. The demonic ape immediately wanted to run away, shouting about what this jerk Yi Fan was saying, for he had already provided for everything. The divine messenger silently listened to this, whereupon he rushed after the creature in pursuit. Meanwhile, Ling Xiao waited for the 2 to leave. He breathed a sigh of relief when he realized that the divine messenger must have gone after a fan. Let them fight there. However, the sword and bell on the divine messenger looked somehow suspicious. It looked like some kind of treasure. In the future, Ling Xiao should be very careful if he encounters it again as well. But from what he heard from the divine messenger about him, then it seems Ling Xiao is indeed infamous in the Holy Lands. If he doesn't hurry up and become stronger, he will surely be killed by others once he returns there. Well, he could only wish a fan good luck. Meanwhile, the guy thought that for some reason the demon monkey had been gone for too long. After which, he noticed that the demonic ape was already heading towards him. It was the monkey that had reincarnated back into his body. Ye Fan realized that he was scared and hid in the tower. This monkey is just useless. He wondered what Ling Xiao had used. That he was able to scare the demonic ape to such an extent was bad news, but he still has a trump card. He used the soul-destroying art of cursing, but suddenly a demonic aura enveloped him, and he immediately heard the words about coincidence. The divine Kari messenger realized that this guy was the reincarnation of the divine demon. Ye Fan began to explain that Mr. Divine Messenger had misunderstood everything. Ye Fan was born behind defective strength and can't cultivate. Everyone in Qingfeng City knows this. Therefore, the guy didn't understand how he could be a divine demon at all. The divine messenger touched his bell, after which Qingzhen saw that this guy could still escape even after one of his attacks. After all, he is indeed the reincarnation of a divine demon, and should not be underestimated. However, the divine messenger couldn't believe that he could no longer sense his aura. Did he really have a treasure to hide his presence? But such treasures are usually valid for a limited time and may not be permanent. He appealed to all the people of the 4 devastated lands to listen to his order. He identified Ye Fan of Qingfeng City as the reincarnation of a divine demon. Anyone who finds him must kill him immediately, and those who dare to hide it will be regarded as enemies of the Holy Church. Meanwhile, a fan really didn't understand what was going on. However, he knows for sure that Ling Xiao is the cause. That jerk dared to put him as the reincarnation of a divine demon. Since he was now being hunted by the Holy Church, he no longer had any hope in the 4 devastated lands. The only way to turn the tide is to find treasure in the secret realm of the primordial dragon. He asked Qin-chan to just wait for him. Once Ye Fan became stronger, then he would come to save her. However, there was no need to even wait for him to return. Ling Xiao will be the one to come and find him. The system reported that the Chosen One was deemed evil. The host received 400 fate points. The system also reported that the host had framed the Chosen One, and it fit the villain's style. And for that, he got 1,000 villain points. He was glad, because now he could finally spin the gacha. After which, Ling Xiao went somewhere. At the same time, the cat on the roof of the Qinchang house was sleeping peacefully to her singing, and the girl was taking a shower. It was at that moment that she noticed that someone had entered her room. It was Ling Xiao. Qinchang asked what the young master was doing. In response, the guy told her not to be afraid. All she has to do is put her hand right here. After she did so, Ling Xiao praised her, for she is a quick learner. The girl wondered if that was all he needed. Ling Xiao told her to come closer and put her hand right here. Qin-chan didn't understand at all what she was doing, or why she was doing it. He got an explosive item called, My Friend, Don't Go Away. Deals massive fire damage over a large area, regardless of enemy or not. Can be used 3 times and is ineffective against targets with cultivation above the non-dealing level. Not responsible for accidental injuries caused by misuse. I'm a tree. It can be worn on the head. This can cause others to see the user as a plant and thus not notice his presence. Ineffective against targets with cultivation levels above the level of non-dealing. Can be used 3 times. Use lasts for 1 hour. A jade ring that nourishes the soul. Warms the soul, restores the energy of the spiritual body, and slowly restores the remnants of the damaged soul. The more it warms, the better the effect. Restoration effect is limited to unsealed souls only. The guy squeezed the lemon again, trying to calm down. What was the big deal about this and all? It's simple and ordinary stuff after all. The soul-nourishing jade ring is temporarily useless to him. Therefore, let it go into the bag. He revealed that Ye Fan is now possessed by a divine demon, and it is very dangerous. Ling Xiao will go to destroy it, and Qin Chang must stay in Qingfeng City and not go anywhere. However, the girl wanted to go along with the young master. She is his servant, so she should be by his side. In response, Ling Xiao wondered if she really considers herself a servant, or does she want to take it further? The girl didn't mind being someone special, if the young master didn't mind. However, Ling Xiao interrupted all her dreams, saying that she should stop dreaming. His future wife is a great beauty from the Holy Land. How could a mere redneck be suitable for him at all? She had not expected such words from the young gentleman. and afterwards sadly replied that she had overdone it. After which, Ling Xiao flew away. At the same time, Jiao was watching them and was happy about this development. Qinchan said that she could laugh if she wanted to, but how could she do that? She thanked her sister for advising her not to seduce the young lord earlier, otherwise she wouldn't be able to make a deal with him. The young master even rewarded her with an extraordinary elixir. And Feng Jiao was not the kind of person who responded to kindness with evil. She also just wanted to remind her sister that the young master was not of their level. It's better to just look for a way out, like the saint does, and then she won't be left in the lurch. Yi Fan is the chosen one and Ling Xiao is the villain. After all, they have different paths. Who would have thought that the secret kingdom would be hidden right here? Those who don't have this map will definitely never find this place. That means there's treasure inside. The day has finally come when he can destroy Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had a recently dislodged object on his head, and at the same time, he was watching Ye Fan. The mantis catches the insect while the bird is behind. However, it wasn't until he realized that the speed of unraveling Yi Fan was too slow. 2 hours had already passed, and he still hadn't found the treasure. Perhaps because the value of Yi Fan's fate had been lowered, his luck of entering the secret realm had also decreased. Ling Xiao must find a way to help him. Otherwise, the effects of his item would end. Ye Fan didn't understand why the mystery of this secret realm was so complicated. After which, Ling Xiao threw something. This pebble went straight into the dragon's eye. Ye Fan thought that there might be some secret inside this thing. However, she doesn't look much different from the others. After which, Ling Xiao threw a stone there again. Ye Fan immediately turned around to ask who was here. However, it was just an ordinary tree. Maybe he just imagined it. He felt an earthquake, and thought he may have triggered some sort of mechanism. A passage opened up in front of him. Yi Fan called himself a genius since he was able to start this mechanism easily. Meanwhile, Ling Xiao was perplexed that this guy even called himself a genius. He decided to go downstairs. Yi Fan noticed that it was too huge, and he wondered who could have built this place. Ling Xiao noticed the mural. The mural on the wall showed a demonic being causing all the people to run and scatter. Then the great man called everyone to fight against the demonic being together. But alas, the demonic creature was too strong, and all of them could not kill it. So the great man sacrificed himself to chop the demonic creature into 9 separate pieces and seal them individually. It was only then that Ling Xiao guessed what this sealed area was. The tree opened its eyes. Ye Fan had to retreat as soon as that tree decided to attack him. The guy assumed it was an ancient new tree. In fact, it was a 1,000-year-old demon tree. The demonic tree told him to leave. The creature sealed here is the greatest evil in the world and cannot be touched by a mortal. Ye Fan read that it seems like this tree is guarding a secret treasure. Once he finished it off, he would come back to kill Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, in turn, thought it was the boss of the lowest floor. And when Yi Fan weakened him, the guy would just walk over and finish him off. When the demonic tree released its roots, the guy told the demonic monkey to beat the tree. However, nothing happened. He didn't understand what was going on. He also asked the demon monkey not to say that he had been scared to death by that divine messenger, and now he didn't even want to fight. Afterward, one of the roots struck the guy. He called the demonic ape a trash that he couldn't even count on. Ling Xiao was still expecting this guy to be his treasure hunter, so he better stand up. After which, he decided to do it himself. Yi Fan activated the Tower of 8 Colors. An armor appeared on him. Ling Xiao. It was very interesting to learn even more of his secret. After which, Ye Fan began to chop the roots of the tree. However, this was expected of the Chosen One. He has more than one trump card up his sleeve. Then he'll just sit back and watch the Chosen One fight. It's been an hour, and the fucking Chosen One still hasn't defeated the boss. This is too much. More often than not, the battle in these novels is low on creativity and takes quite a bit of time. But it's the most popular scene for these goofball authors, so there's nothing odd about them dragging it out. However, how long Yi Fan has been dragging this out is just outrageous. Is the author really that dumb? Readers are even going to tear his ass up in the comments. Considering his turtle-like speed at which this guy solves the puzzle, one can only assume one thing. Is this battle going on for so long too because of the effect of lowering the values of his destiny? In the end, he was able to chop down that demonic tree. He didn't even understand why this demonic tree was so difficult to deal with. In the past, such an opponent would have been destroyed with a few attacks. However, now he had gotten his hands on a secret treasure. Ling Xiao remembered that many bosses fake their deaths. At this point, the cannon fodder of the protagonist's group will approach the chest with a smirk on their face and be killed. The protagonist, on the other hand, will prove to be alert or lucky enough to overcome the obstacles. That's how important it is to strike the final blow. Yifan only has 100 fate values right now. Therefore, it is not even clear whether he can detect the hidden danger. The guy thought that with such a treasure, he wouldn't even be afraid of this divine messenger. He would be able to shame Feng Jiao Heir and the Yi family. That idiot actually took the treasure right away. Yifan only has 100 fate values right now. And if he dies like that, the system won't count him out. Ling Xiao had no choice but to stop him. He shouted for the guy to stay away from that demonic tree. He didn't expect to see Ling Xiao here at all, and wondered why he was here. It was as if he knew that this guy would wait for her foundation treasure. And then, when he was distracted, then Ling Xiao was going to take it away. Ling Xiao recognized that although what he said was true, but right now Ye Fan should listen to him. However, the Chosen One just shut him up. After so many years, he had endured countless humiliations and still held back, because he once knew that he would take back all the hurt and abuse that he had been subjected to over 100 times. With this belief, he had come this far, and was about to succeed. And so, Ling Xiao appeared. Feng Jiao Heir despises him, but at the same time bows down to him. Cousin Qin Chang, who is very important to him, and Ling Xiao threatens her. It's over because that idiot won't even listen to him. All that's left is the language of power, and as soon as Ling Xiao wanted to jump up to him, he slapped him, saying that he wouldn't let him get away. But suddenly he noticed that some poisonous gas was beginning to cover him. Ling Xiao had to immediately retreat to avoid being exposed to the spore. He still remembers that spores appeared in the game, and anyone who breathes in spores turns into a monster. Eventually, Yifan really started to turn into a monster. This guy's already dead. He let them all look down on him, and now he's going to kill them all together. He immediately attacked Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao immediately jumped away from the place of impact. He pulled out a mask, talking about how controversy is everywhere. So it's better to be overinsured than sorry. Ye Fan used his transformed arm to attack his opponent. Ling Xiao, in turn, chopped that tree into pieces, after which he got closer to a fan and struck him. He was thrown backwards, but this Chosen One had the ability to regenerate. Although he can regenerate, he's completely out of it and not a threat right now. Therefore, it is better to kill the boss first. There's a great option to take down the boss. The air is filled with spores, and before he got here, he got another bomb he could use 3 times. Plus, combustible particles in a confined space. There's going to be some good stuff with high ignition. After that, there was an explosion. A marker was left there, as well as a burned tree. That's how you deal with a boss. Now he wanted to see what happened to that bastard Yifan. He kept talking about killing those who looked down on him. But why couldn't he even do that? Ling Xiao remembered Qin Chang talking about how when she was a child, she saw her other cousins bullying Ye Fan, and she had helped stand up to them. Ye Fan had said to stay away from him. It was at that moment that he fell in love with Qin Chang. Yifan asked Qin Chang to save him. Ling Xiao kindly explained that he might as well not rely on Qin Chang. She would not come to save him. She only felt sorry for a fan as a cousin. That girl doesn't love him at all. Ling Xiao showed the jade pendant and explained that he was the one who then pretended to be his Qin Chang and gave it to him. All of this was a lie. He just couldn't believe that day was a lie. It turns out the communication between Ling Xiao and Qin Chang was real back then. He just couldn't believe his own ears. After that, the guy started spitting up blood. Yifan reported that he couldn't hold on any longer. If Ling Xiao vows to take good care of Qin Chang, he will give all his treasures to him. Ling Xiao swore with his heart Dao that he would take care of Ye Qin Chang in this life and not let her be harmed. If he reneged on his words, his heart Dao would be destroyed. And now Yifan could be at peace. Yifan only closed his eyes, saying that he was really calm now. He asked to hold out his hand, and then he would give him his treasures. But it was only a pretense, and he just wanted to kill Ling Xiao. However, he was outplayed. Even though Ling Xiao is not the main character, however, he knows the importance of seeing things through to the end. The writing skills of these dumbass authors are too shitty. They don't even know how to write what touches and what doesn't. Women of Chosen is just a tool to make readers feel satisfied. A vengeful Chosen One like a fan wants to make a deal with Ling Xiao, that is, the enemy, exchanging all his treasures for the safety of Qin Chang. This must be a joke. The essence of the Chosen One is selfishness. Yifan is just a scumbag with the halo of a protagonist. Ling Xiao will never fall for such tricks. However, before he could concretely say anything, his corpse scattered. It's finally over. However, he remembered about the fact that he only had 100 fate values. Ling Xiao thought that he had made him angry at the end, and then the fate values were gone. The system reported that the host killed the Chosen One and gets 1,000 villain points. But he is also awarded a penalty. He tried to stop it. The chosen one was left with the value of fate. The system began the choice of punishment, and as punishment, the demonic aura will increase slightly. The system reported that the severity of the punishment depends on the number of remaining values of the fate of the chosen one. When he first killed Chu Yang, he had 400 points of fate value. That's why he was so harsh last time, and Yifan only had 100 fate value. Therefore, this time the punishment was only a slight increase in demonic aura. He wondered if the remaining values of the chosen one's destiny were the only thing that affected the system's punishment. The system answered that it was not. Ling Xiao wondered what else was affecting then. The system was silent. Ling Xiao's nerves were on edge. In the end, the system reported that this was forbidden information, and this function was not yet unlocked. Ling Xiao was furious. What was it that he said after such a long pause? Suddenly, he noticed that a demonic aura began to surround him. He realized it was the same sensation as his demonic aura intensified. And at this moment, Qingzheng sensed the demonic aura. He had finally found it. It's like a glass full of water that could spill at any moment if he's not careful. If he can't control it properly, he's definitely in trouble. After all, he is the villain. It's best not to stay here any longer. He'll take the trophies and deal with them later. He looked at the past chosen one. Ling Xiao wondered what the punishment would be if one killed a chosen one with a huge destiny value. After which, he decided to fly away. He doesn't know how long this demonic aura will spread, and it's very annoying. However, he noticed someone starting to appear in front of him. It was a divine messenger who didn't expect them to meet again. After all, he was following the aura of a reincarnated divine demon. And this time, he came upon Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao didn't expect to see a divine messenger here at all. He was so frightened that his demonic aura manifested even more. The divine messenger understood. Ling Xiao invited him for tea so that the divine messenger accidentally discovered the reincarnation of the divine demon. And now when he is chasing after the reincarnation of the divine demon, he meets this guy again. And there's a demonic aura emanating from him right now. Qingzhen asked not to say that it was all just a coincidence. Ling Xiao replied that the divine envoy was getting himself too worked up, and it was all a coincidence. He wondered why Mr. Divine Messenger wouldn't do him a favor and pretend that he had never seen Ling Xiao here. Qingzhen wondered if he really thought it was possible. The guy only thought about the fact that controlling the demonic aura and preventing it from spreading even more was hard enough without Togo. Obviously, he wouldn't be able to fight this divine messenger. In the story, the protagonist will suffer heavy losses when the battle begins. What's more, Ling Xiao isn't even the protagonist. He's the villain. They pushed away from each other. Seeing where Ling Xiao was heading, the divine envoy wondered if after everything that had happened, the best he could do was to flee. He'd like to see where this guy is going to run off to. Ling Xiao summoned the brats she had harbored during the Chuyan battle. He ordered to go and capture the blue-colored uncle. However, he quickly dealt with this bunch of lowlifes and asked Ling Xiao, did he really think that this would stop him? In the end, Ling Xiao was cornered. Qingzhen is very happy right now. Ling Xiao became very curious as to why. Killing a divine demon is the duty of the Holy Church, and killing this guy is for the sake of innocent people. And today, two great causes have come together. It's just a great day. He just wanted to get rid of two birds with one stone. But it's also a great day for Ling Xiao. The divine messenger noticed that she had hit a thread of some sort, whereupon the thread broke, and there was an explosion. Many who saw him noticed that he had a great ball-handling skills, and so they called him the Blue Blade, and thought he specialized in swordsmanship among divine messengers. But what a pity they were very wrong. Ling Xiao only sighed when he saw that there wasn't even a single scratch on him. Indestructible against sword and spear, invulnerable to water and fire. Qingzhen is the best in defense among the divine messengers. A golden cannon appeared in his hands, and Ling Xiao was curious to see just how strong his defense was. The divine messenger replied that his cunning tricks could not harm him. If he still has aces up his sleeves, it's time to use it. After which there was an explosion. The divine messenger was already falling from this shot. What a coincidence that his weapon just happens to ignore defenses. He also remembered that he had to finish the case. Otherwise the villain would end up dead. However, his blade was stopped by the hand of the divine messenger, who couldn't believe that he was able to break through his defense. This was the greatest humiliation of his life. Ling Xiao clearly didn't expect this. He had to increase the distance between them. He learned something about a holy church that prides itself on its righteousness and goes around the world killing demons by force. Namely that the divine messenger himself is actually a demon. He was seriously in trouble. If young Master Ling Xiao ran away right now, Qingzhen wouldn't have the strength to chase after him. Ling Xiao thought that he was just joking. Besides, the divine messenger would definitely not let him go, especially when he had learned such a big secret. Even if he escaped, the Holy Church would not stop pursuing him, and his only way to get out of here alive is to kill the divine messenger right here and now. Qinzhen admitted that he had truly underestimated him until now. This guy turned out to be not so simple. When the enemy shows his demonic appearance for the first time in the story, it is accompanied by an increase in his combat abilities. And Ling Xiao's main trump card is still reloading. He needs to apprehend this divine messenger. He snapped his fingers and Qinzhen noticed something in the sky. Ling Xiao told the old Ling to kill him. However, this was to be expected from the young lord of the Ling clan. Even the guardian is in the realm of the unformed. However, it's just a tiny unformed kingdom. He advised Ling Xiao to use all his trump cards. That way, he could finish him off faster. After which, Ling Xiao threw his bead. The divine messenger used his bell. He was still unharmed, and advised him to surrender. Now he realized that the bell could be used for defense as well. Qinzhen observed that this explosion was quite impressive. It must have been a top-grade treasure from the Holy Lands. Shen Yuanyuo was very caring for his wayward son. Ling Xiao was fed up with it. However, even this attack the divine messenger was able to block with his ball, after which the guy was punched. He recognized that it was quite good for such an underdog. Ling Xiao's swordsmanship was actually not bad, and he was even able to compare to a divine messenger. Meanwhile, Ling Xiao didn't realize what he was carrying by saying compare to him. Qinzhen is unharmed while he already has several injuries. Time to stop fooling around. He was ready to end it now. Ling Xiao had nothing left but to run away from all those swords that were pointed in his direction. Dodging another Ijaka, he was beginning to think this attack was kind of weak. In response, the divine messenger asked if he really thought so. After which the swords changed their direction. Ling Xiao realized that he wouldn't be able to dodge. Suddenly Qinchang appeared in front of him and covered him with her body. He immediately picked her up in his arms, not sure why she did it. She asked the young master to run away from here quickly. The divine envoy saw that young master Ling Xiao was too popular. Fortunately, he was able to dodge another lunge from his opponent. Suddenly he felt a monstrous pain. This is the damaged heart of the Tao. At this moment, Ling Xiao remembered that he had sworn that he would protect Qinchang. He fell to his knees, not realizing if this was payment for breaking his oath. The divine messenger appeared behind him, preparing to deliver the final blow. The sword ended up near his throat, and at that moment, he realized that the divine demon was preparing to take his body. After all, the current Ling Xiao with a broken-hearted Tao wasn't even able to choke this creature inside him. The divine envoy was unable to kill Ling Xiao. His blade shattered. He clearly didn't expect it and looked back. After which, Qinzhen felt that very aura. Ling Xiao put the girl on the ground. He began to transform into a divine demon. It was a powerful surge of demonic aura. As it turned out, the divine demon was a woman. She was glad that she was finally free. However, her shoulders were a little tight. She couldn't believe that all men were so thin. It's also a bit of a nuisance at the bottom. The divine messenger also did not expect that the divine demons were actually a woman. The scriptures did not mention this. The divine demon right now had not yet broken any of its seals. Even if won, it should be able to decapitate her. By killing the divine demon, he will gain immortality. The divine messenger approached the divine demon. However, the girl pointed a finger down and told him to kneel down. The divine messenger didn't even realize how he had obeyed this order. She only laughed, seeing that he was getting pretty good at falling to his knees. Qinren didn't understand why he couldn't control his body. The divine demon revealed that she was the lord of all demons. And if he is a demon, he will unconsciously obey her instructions. She ordered to tell her about herself and why she wants to kill her. The divine messenger of the Qingzheng Holy Church introduced himself. He had come to the 4 devastated lands to kill the reincarnation of a divine demon. She also inquired about the intentions of the Holy Church. The divine messenger said that thousands of years ago, the ancestor of the cult's founder sealed the divine demon and founded a holy church. After thousands of years, the church became the head of the Holy Lands and the 4 devastated lands. The mission of the Holy Church is to relentlessly pursue and kill the reincarnations of the divine demon, and to stop the rebirth of the divine demon. In the last 1,000 years, they have killed a total of 478 reincarnations of the divine demon. At the same time, in order to reduce the chance of the divine demon revival, the Holy Church founded many large sects and to destroy the demon race and monster race. At this time, the demons had already turned into a rat living on the street, hunted by everyone. There are only a few tens of thousands left of the demons living in the Holy Land. That means they hunt and kill for demons everywhere. This is what happened after the sealing of the divine demon. She was angry that they dared to make her a prime target. Qinzhen felt that he could control himself. Since he wants to kill her, she decided to give him a chance. Let him show her the power of the Holy Church. He took off his cloak. Just as the Holy Scripture says, the divine demon is very arrogant. Whether you are human or demon, arrogance can only lead to defeat. She probably doesn't even know how much effort the Holy Church has put in over the last 1,000 years to prevent the revival of the divine demon. Qinzhen is kind enough to make sure of this. The divine demon noticed that they were all top-grade treasures. One could guess that this guy was very rich. Even after successfully sealing the divine demon, the Holy Church had been preparing all along. For that 1,000 years, the followers of the Holy Church constantly bring them the best treasures. All the major sects also offer the best treasures and pills to the Holy Church every year. All these treasures have been accumulated for this day, and they are filled with the desire to kill and destroy the divine demon. However, he didn't even notice how this woman had managed to fall asleep. Her behavior is too arrogant. The divine demon woke up and asked if they could start already. He was ready to fulfill her wish. The divine demon began to dodge all of his attacks. After that, she summoned her sword and was able to fight them off. She wondered what had happened. He'd better use all his secrets if he still had them. After which, he decided to attack her again. However, even that did nothing to significantly damage her. The divine demon noticed a single attack slip right in front of her face, but even that she was able to calmly dodge. Qinzhen couldn't believe that she was actually able to dodge. All 9 divine demon powers were sealed. Her ability to sense danger should have been sealed as well. The woman replied that even if she didn't have this ability, it was still too easy to deal with this bug. But it would be quite bad if she didn't have that ability to sense danger. The ability to respond to his attack will depend on the initial perception of that body. That was a pretty good performance for a kid that young. He immediately swung his sword, shouting that he wasn't done yet. After which, Qinzhen attacked the divine demon, and then an opportunity opened up for him. He damaged her, laughing that she had finally been caught. Now she too realized that attacking from below was actually better. But unfortunately, it didn't help him. The divine messenger explained that this attack was a miscalculation. Sword attacks are ineffective against him. This woman won't even be able to injure him. Although his attack this time was a miscalculation, if he kept attacking, he would be able to reach her sooner or later. But before he could finish, a fist immediately flew into his face. Since he himself says that ball attacks are ineffective against him, then she'll just use the most primitive attack she can. After which, the divine demon began to pound his face with her fists. After a few minutes, she mentioned that if he had something he wanted to say last, now was the time. He decided to blow himself up by saying that the Holy Church would be the victor. She really didn't expect him to actually blow his soul for this. He blew up his own divine soul into 3 souls and 7 spirits to escape. He made sure she couldn't find him. This guy is really very smart. But it's a pity that this time his opponent turned out to be a divine demon. A little while later, it didn't understand why there was a lack of soul. But there's still not much difference, so she decided to eat them all. The divine demon felt something pleasant. The demonic energy of this divine messenger was of very high quality. However, it tastes unpleasant. After which, she noticed the injured Qinzhen. She immediately lay down beside her, talking about how she hadn't tasted a woman in 1,000 years. She wanted to taste her. However, her own hand stopped the divine demon. Its body began to resist her. That kid's got a pretty strong will, but whatever he does, it's too late now. Suddenly, she heard a certain melody. Rise up, cursed, with a curse branded on you. All the world of hungry and slaves, boiling our minds, outraged, and ready to fight to the death. We'll tear down the world of violence. This song was starting to give her a splitting headache. Yes, and then we'll build a new world. He who was nothing will become everything. She couldn't take it anymore. This time it was the kid who won. After which, there was another surge of demonic power, and control of his body was regained by Ling Xiao. He was glad he was finally able to return. After which, the guy immediately turned his attention to Qinzhen, asking her not to die. He grasped the man's collar with irritation at his incomprehension of how he couldn't cure her. Hadn't he just given her the best medicine available? He asked the young master to calm down. Although Miss Qin's external injuries are fine, the internal injuries are what is most important. Not only is her physical body damaged, but also her soul. And there is nothing they can do about it. He then let the man in and told them to get out of here. Started speculating about the romantic interest, the chosen one, that helped the villain block the blow. How could she just die like that? And why it's suddenly the villain? Too many novels in the isekai genre seem to ignore the protagonist's personality change after the transition. A few days ago, Ling Xiao was just a villain. Now he has to face a girl who sacrifices herself to block an attack for Ling Xiao's sake. Now he too realized that he had to save her. His necklace activated. Ming Feng greeted the young master. The guy didn't even expect her to finally come out. He thought she wanted to spend the rest of her life there. She apologized to the young master. She had noticed earlier that Chu Yang had talent, so she wanted to help him develop it, and hoped that he would be able to avenge her race in the future. She didn't expect that after the young master appeared, Chu Yang's character would become so childish. After all, he dug his own grave. It's her fault that she's not a good judge of character. She didn't dare to meet young master face to face earlier. He knew it was true that the girl had originally wanted Chu Yang to avenge her, but everything she said after that was a lie. He assumes that her race is an enemy of the Holy Church, and she originally wanted to rely on Chu Yang to take revenge. But she didn't expect that Ling Xiao could kill him so easily. Firstly, Ming Feng was afraid that he would be angry with her, and secondly, she was afraid of retribution, so she had refused to come out until now. However, after Ling Xiao revealed the true body of the divine demon and killed the divine messenger of the Holy Church, as well as harming the church itself. In the future, the Holy Church would fight him to the death without any compromise. Only after that did she decide to face him. All she wants is strong and powerful allies to stand by her side. Ling Xiao wondered if he was wrong. She decided to remove her blindfold, saying that the young master was indeed a man of extraordinary wisdom. She has no memories of her past, and she doesn't even know her name. She can only associate herself with her race. All that remains in her is a deep-seated hatred for the slayers of her people. And if the young lord is willing to help take revenge, she is even willing to serve as his dog. The guy replied that actions speak louder than the word. He would like Min Feng to heal this woman's soul as a sign of goodwill. After which she began the healing process. Ling Xiao really noticed that she had healed Qin Chang. From today onwards, she will be a follower of Ling Xiao. And since this woman couldn't remember her name, he decided to call her Ju Yu. He told me that the name had a special meaning. It belongs to the woman Ling Xiao once loved. She started coughing. The guy asked if she was okay. She just tensed up a bit after she used some of her power. After all, she's just a remnant of the soul of who she used to be. The young master has a treasure that can nourish the soul. He can place Ju Yu there so that it can recover. Ling Xiao remembered that it was the same treasure he had obtained earlier. He pulled out a ring and told her to come inside. After which, the guy decided to wait for Qin Chang to wake up. Suddenly he heard a woman's voice confirm that he was pretty smart. It was a divine demon who recognized that it was interesting. The guy noticed her beauty. He got such a kind girl to help her block the attack. He's a real professional at what he does. Even though he's a third-rate writer who's written millions of words, the chosen one is always on his mind. But suddenly, he stopped praising himself. He asked who she was and when she had come here in the first place. The girl only laughed. Ling Xiao didn't even sense her arrival. She only laughed and decided to release the demonic aura. Only then did he begin to assume that he was facing a divine demon. She replied that it was true. Ling Xiao wondered when the divine demon had time to escape. She explained that the one standing in front of him now was just a sliver of her divine realization, and she wasn't avoiding at all. Other than Ling Xiao, no one else can see her. Before, she really wanted to take possession of his body, but now I've changed my mind. He should be glad, for the girl has decided to give him a chance to serve her. Let him kneel down and swear his loyalty to her. If he does, the divine demon will graciously allow him to take some of her power. However, he hadn't expected her to say that at all. Ling Xiao didn't understand what kind of nonsense she was talking about if it was his body, and the divine demon didn't understand why he didn't fall to his knees like the others. He wondered why she was even trying to negotiate with him in such a state. Shouldn't she be the one begging Ling Xiao for help? Seems like if she doesn't beat this guy up, he doesn't realize his position. In that case, he'll just start singing. She turned around, saying that she was quite gracious today, so she would just let him go this time. Ling Xiao had learned this song from other novels. Who would have thought that she would be so useful? He would want them both to see each other as equals. The divine demon would lend him the power, and Ling Xiao would help break the seals and bring back the memory. She wondered how on earth the guy knew that she had lost part of her memory. Ling Xiao replied that it was a mere guess. A final boss like her must know many shocking secrets of the world. But those shitty authors didn't even think about the future before getting the plot going early on. They can only give her a debuff and seal her memories since she knows too much. and slowly restore her memories throughout the story, just to give the main character some important information. And after these gradual recollections, all readers will be satisfied. But unfortunately, the divine demon didn't understand anything. There's no need to worry. He's a third-rate writer who knows all kinds of scripts. She has nothing to lose by working with him. She thought about it for a moment, after which Ling Xiao inquired about her decision. The divine demon saw no reason to refuse. Therefore, she would follow this guy and help him. Holy Land, the temple of the Holy Church. The man informed His Holiness that Qin Zhen had still not returned after going to the lower world to find the reincarnation of a divine demon. That's why the three of them came. If His Holiness wants to convey something to Qin Zhen, they can go in search of him, but there was no need for that. He felt that Qin Zhen died in the 4 devastated lands, but didn't Qin Zhen go looking for traces of the reincarnation of the divine demon? How did he die then? He asked not to say that it was because the divine demon had awakened. But even if that was the case, why didn't Qin Zhen call for reinforcements? The girl mentioned that Qin Zhen is just an idiot who is full of fantasy about the Tao. In her opinion, she was 80% sure that he wanted to use the divine demon for his cultivation. But Qin Zhen didn't expect the divine demon to be so powerful. The other divine messenger was sorry that he didn't witness such an interesting moment. The man mentioned that one of their men had just died. What's going on with these two? His Holiness told everyone to be quiet. They immediately listened to his order. None of the 9 seals of the divine demon had been broken. So the awakening of the divine demon is impossible. And Qin Zhen must have died due to some circumstances. And since Qin Zhen was dead, the killer must have seen his face. Although Qin Zhen has always leaned toward the Tao, his devotion to the Holy Church is undeniable. Qin Zhen certainly left a testimony of the enemy for them. He ordered Jin Fen to go to the 4 devastated lands to find the message that the man had left, and once he identifies a suspect, he has to kill him. No one can know the secrets of the Holy Church. He will carry out that order, but we must be careful. There is one of the seals of the divine demon in the 4 devastated lands. His Holiness fears that he has already found it. But it's the same useless power of the divine demon. 4 devastated lands. Qingfeng City. Ling Xiao asked what she meant by the most useless power. The girl replied that it was her breastplate. Although it contains her strength, unfortunately, it does not increase her combat power. She's gonna go change and told me not to peek at her. Ling Xiao wondered why he was even needed then. But after that, he felt something. The system reported that the master had broken the seal of the divine demon. Specifically, the item is a divine demon breastplate. It also displayed that one of the seals had been removed. He decided to test how useful this heavenly demon breastplate was. And as soon as he saw it, he thought, isn't he extremely useful? If the divine demon's body was divided into 9 different parts, and each part corresponds to the divine demon's power. This breastplate has the ability to control the divine demon's aura and hide its aura, or release its aura and survey its surroundings. If Ling Xiao gave the slightest whiff of demonic aura, he would be immediately detected. After that, the divine messengers would immediately find him. At this moment, he couldn't handle the group of divine messengers that were chasing after him. And with the divine messengers' divine sense, they won't be able to reveal all of Ling Xiao's trump cards. But now, things have changed. With the divine demon breastplate, he could conceal the demonic aura emanating from himself. And when he was threatened, the guy could use the aura of a divine demon to fight back. You could say he has another trump card. Now we need to look at the Tower of Yifan. However, Ling Xiao didn't understand why on earth he couldn't use this tower. From the scent, the divine demon determined that this treasure contained her aura. It seems that this tower also contains a seal. Then that would explain the reason why he suddenly went insane. After all, Yifan had one of the seals of the divine demon, but it can only be used when Ling Xiao reaches the unformed realm and opens his soul palace. And an ant like him wouldn't be able to use it. Ye Fan is only at the awakening stage, and he was already able to use the tower. It seems like he still had some hidden luck that he had obtained in the past 100 values of fate. Jin Feng found traces of Qin Wife's soul explosion. This man had indeed left them a message. However, there was only a piece of the soul left, and if he can recover that soul, then he will recognize the killer Qin Wife. And when that time comes, he will kill that bastard. Ling Xiao filmed the ancient art of soul manipulation. Zhao didn't expect Demon Empress Yue Zuken to be here. The Demon Empress wondered what this guy was up to since he had actually freed them. He replied that he just decided to let them go. In this world, strength is not the most important thing. Those who follow the protagonist will prosper, and those who go against the protagonist will suffer. That's why he can help them pump up a bit. She hadn't expected him to suddenly want to just let go of the beauties he controlled. The divine demon wondered if he was definitely okay. Ling Xiao replied that if he had tens of thousands of rooms in his palace, then all the villains in the world would be happy. The people spotted young Master Ling Xiao's starship. Is this really the power that can break through the limit? Qin Chang finally came to her senses. Ling Xiao wondered if she knew what she had done wrong. She began to stammer, talking about how she didn't know. Ling Xiao swore with his heart, the Tao, that he would protect her. And in the end, she took the hit for Ling Xiao, and thus caused harm to the Tao guy's heart. She knows that she is useless to the young master's cultivation, so she wanted to help the master block the attack. Qin Chan didn't expect to harm the young master's Tao heart. Suddenly, she had just remembered the words that the young master had sworn with his Tao heart, that he would protect her. Ling Xiao said to take care of herself next time, and not to cause any more trouble for him. Now they should get some fresh air. They have almost arrived at the Holy Land. She was glad, and thought of the young gentleman as being very kind indeed. Everyone was excited about the holy ground, for it looked truly noble. Qin Chan wondered if she could even be here while not in the ascended immortal realm. He had completely forgotten to tell her that there was no such thing as an ascended immortal realm. When the people of the 4 devastated lands reach the peak of the unbridled realm, they can break through the border and go to the Holy Lands. It's just that many of them haven't seen anyone with a level higher than the unbridled realm, so they all usually refer to them as the ascended immortal realm. Actually, the qualifications of the kingdom of the saints about the lands are simpler. Above the unbridled kingdom are the chief god, the god leader, the god king, the god emperor. And each kingdom consists of 9 stages. Being in the 4 desolate lands, they can be considered geniuses with the void spirit realm. But in the Holy Land, those who are above the unbridled realm are considered geniuses. She wondered, since all geniuses were above the unbridled realm, then why the young master had not yet risen above that realm. He reasoned that if he cultivated too fast, it would cause the foundation to become unstable, and he wants to have a stable foundation. In fact, the owner of this body is obsessed with women and alcohol, and doesn't even care about cultivation. Even his current cultivation is built on his mother's pills. In the 4 devastated lands, his cultivation was more than enough. But here in the homeland, it was nothing. He needs to quickly elevate his cultivation. Not only is his strength in the Holy Land unimpressive, he also has countless enemies who wish to kill him. And since he's back, he should visit his mom. After all, his mom is the head of the Danyuan temple. Ling Xiao helped her get down from the ship. She didn't even expect this sect to be so luxurious. It was bigger than any sect in the 4 devastated lands. The guy replied that there was nothing special about it. The Danyuan sect is one of the best sects even in the Holy Lands, but it looks pretty ordinary. After which he shouted to his mom that he was back. His mother was there at once, and she was glad that he was home at last. She'd already thought that something had happened to him in the lower world. The woman asked him how he had been in the 4 devastated lands, if he had eaten well, and if everything had gone well. Ling Xiao was a little embarrassed and asked his mom to stop. After all, there are people here. She glanced at Qin Chang, saying that he didn't care about this before. Did he become shy after he entered the lower world? But that didn't matter, so she suggested to go inside. Qin Chang was glad to finally see the young master's mother. This woman is truly beautiful. She wanted to throw a banquet for her son's return. The divine demon also noticed her hair and the curves of her body. Although she was a married woman, she was still charming, and her skin was as white as snow. Still, cooperating with Ling Xiao was indeed the right choice. She even asked to call her daddy. Ling Xiao told her to just shut up. Qin Chang noticed a qi gathering pill, a qi refining pill, and a qi replenishing pill. All of these pills were of the 3rd grade. Any of them are treasures in the 4 desolate lands, but here, they are used as an appetizer for guests. She fed Zhao Er those pills, talking about how he needed to eat more. The woman asked if he had reached his goal in the lower world. Ling Xiao replied that yes, he had. The aura of the divine demon is no longer seeping out. But the thing is, there's a problem between him and the Holy Church. He just doesn't know what the Holy Church will do with him. As long as the aura of the divine demon in his body is suppressed, he doesn't need to worry about the Holy Church. Right now the saint is threatened by something else, so he will at least be protected by 2 envoys. Even if they want to touch Ling Xiao later, there's no need to worry. His mommy would finish off all the abusers of her dear son. He mentally thanked his mommy. She also mentioned that when he's done playing with this girl, let him get rid of her soon. After all, he is going to be betrothed to Nian Qin Yun of the Misty Palace. If Ling Xiao marries her will be related to the Misty Palace, he will have no equal on the set in the land. They must avoid suspicion at all costs. He told his mom not to worry, because he would figure it out. The woman marveled that somehow he had become so docile. Those words alerted him, after which she ordered her divine consciousness to be opened. She wants to test his soul. He agreed, thinking about the fact that soul-searching shouldn't reveal him. Probably. Whereupon the woman began to examine his soul. It was a pretty intense process. She made sure his divine consciousness was okay, and he hadn't been so docile before. His mother thought that after traveling to the 4 devastated lands, he had been taken over by other people. Ling Xiao wondered if she thought that he had matured after his journey to the lower world. She was glad that her Xiao heir had grown up. He is good at everything, but he is too reckless. The woman was always worried that he would get into trouble. But now that he has matured, it will be easier for her. This motherly love. In his previous life, his mother died right after he was born, so he did not experience this kind of love. Mom doesn't need to worry because he's her son. A man who intends to dominate the Holy Lands, and he's not going to die until then. The woman replied that if he needed anything, he would just let her know. In response, the guy asked if she could give him some pills. Ling Xiao used all of them during her travels. The woman told him to then go to the warehouse and get whatever he wanted. The divine demon mentioned that his mother is all-caring. Not only is she beautiful, but she's also kind. She's too good. Mom is in the God Emperor realm, but she couldn't find any abnormalities in his soul. It seems the strength of the system is higher than this realm, but he decided not to think about it now. Now he can try his luck. He should call Qin Chang and let her help him again. Suddenly, the divine demon asked why words and pictures were floating in the air. Guy wondered if she could see the system. After that, she wanted to touch it. He got very agitated and told her to stop, but it was too late, for she had already pressed on. It was a disaster. Isn't he already dead? The divine demon wondered why he was screaming. She also mentioned that he wasn't dead. She doesn't even realize how much damage she's done to him. He should have only suspected what garbage he was now in the mortgage with 10 twists, but he didn't expect there to be 4 purple and 4 gold twists at all. He kept looking at what he had gotten off the gacha and then at the divine demon. She didn't understand why this guy was acting like an idiot. Afterward, she admitted that it was her fault and she shouldn't have pushed. Suddenly, Ling Xiao kneeled down and grabbed her leg, saying that it was his fault. He hoped that the divine demon wouldn't accuse him of being stingy. She doesn't know what's going on, but it's his attitude that she really likes. In that case, she asked him to bring 10 handsome men here. Or he could just take her to his father. The guy ignored her and decided to check out what he had gotten. The Way of the Sword. One must comprehend the true essence of sword intent and become invincible. After using the sword intent, the user's sword intent will increase to the highest level. The Law of Thunder. One can comprehend the power of thunder and gain the ability to manipulate thunder. After using it, the user's ability to manipulate thunder will increase to the highest level. Pangu Stone, Ancient Treasure. Once used, the user can unlock their soul, absorb spirit treasures, and resist soul attack. It's a superpowered one. He really hit the jackpot this time. But he decided to calm down. Now that Ling Xiao has returned to the Holy Lands, his enemies are everywhere. There is a chosen one who wants to chop off his head, as well as divine messengers of the Holy Church who want to silence him. He can no longer use these items at will and must be careful with them. After all, Ling Xiao is just a lowly villain without the protection of fate, and he can only rely on himself. First, he needs to solve the Qin Chang problem. On the one hand, Mom said that he should avoid suspicion. On the other hand, Qin Chang's level of development is too low. He has countless enemies, and it will be dangerous to follow him. In addition to the Dao heart he had sworn by earlier. If something happened to that girl, he could also be seriously hurt. He needs to make a decision now, in the Heavenly Sword Sect. The man told the Patriarch that the young master Ling Xiao had come to visit them. Had he really landed at the entrance of the sect? That asshole always flew right into the gym. Why did he suddenly land at the entrance like a normal person? He must be an imposter. This guy is kind of suspicious, so we should be careful with him. No matter how suspicious he is still a young master of the 10,000 Dao demonic sect. The patriarch of the Heavenly Sword sect, Duan Wuyong, explained that they should be extremely polite to the eldest son of the Ling clan, as well as the Dan Yuan sect. The Grand Elder Yu Zibo explained that they should go to meet him. Ling Xiao greeted them. He had heard that the Heavenly Sword sect was looking for a successor to the Sword Dao. Therefore, he decided to introduce this girl to them. Thanking him was unnecessary, and it was better to just strengthen the relationship between the two sects. Qin Chang greeted the elder, also introduced herself. Wu Yun realized that the person the young master was talking about was this woman beside him, but they only laughed, saying that this girl was just trash. She's only 18 years old, and she's in the realm of the Sea of Souls. There were many disciples at the peak of Luoxia, but because of his advanced age, he won't be able to accept more as disciples. The man in the middle decided to go back to cultivate in seclusion to understand the power of the Tao, so he's not suitable either. And the man with the long beard recently fell ill and still hasn't recovered, so he can't either. One thought that Ling Xiao wanted to utilize their sect's resources by sending this brat here. The other thought that if he took this girl and taught her, she might throw a tantrum. The third one just wanted to see who would even agree to take her in. What a pity. Looks like all he has to do is send her to the 10,000 Sword sect and with his good brother Lin Pul. This girl deserves to study in the 10,000 Sword sect. It's a shame they can't accept her as a disciple. He turned to Qin Chen, asking about something she had recently comprehended. It seemed to be the Sword of Dao. She replied that it was true. They didn't expect that she had truly comprehended the Sword Dao. After which, Qin Chang decided to demonstrate it. They believed that it was indeed the Sword of Dao. But even a man could only touch a small corner of it. This girl is a rare swordsmanship genius who only appears a race of several hundred years. After which, Ling Xiao replied that they were going to the 10,000 Sword sect. However, he was stopped by these three men saying that they wanted to take her as a disciple. Each of these old men struggled to teach her. But didn't they say they couldn't accept her? Why did they change their minds abruptly? One has gotten better, another has decided not to go private, and a third has changed his mind and already can. After that, they turned their attention to each other. They started fighting for this girl to join one. Suddenly, another old man stopped them, telling them to stop acting so shamefully in front of everyone. He thinks that this girl is a good and strong person, and she is a worthy candidate for sword training. This sword belongs to him, so he decides to give his sword to her. The sword immediately flew out of its sheath and started circling around Qin Chang. This sword had been his partner day and night for hundreds of years. The spirit of the sword had always refused to recognize him as its master, and as soon as he met this girl, he recognized her as his mistress. It's really amazing. Ling Xiao couldn't figure out how to merge with the Tao of Thunder for half a day. But Qin Chang immediately merged with the Tao of Sword, and even made the sword spirit recognize her as the mistress. Since it's fate, why not let this girl accept him as her master? He has been cultivating for a long time and wants to pass on his teachings. He wants the young master and this girl to have a good life. They started accusing Zibo of using such a sneaky method to bribe this girl. That damn old man is taking advantage of others. He only showed them the middle finger and asked why she should have been turned down. Wu Wun recalled the young master's words about bringing the Heavenly Sword sect a successor. Since she was the sect's successor, it was normal that she would learn from him. The bloody old man mustn't think they'll forgive him this ruse just because he's a patriarch. He's too cunning. Wu Yun was glad he couldn't hear these guys. Ling Xiao wondered what kind of status Patriarch Duan was going to assign to Qin Chang. He will hold a disciple acceptance ceremony tomorrow and announce that Qin Chan is a holy disciple of his immortal Heavenly Sword sect. Such is his decree. She can visit any place in this sect as she wishes. The girl thanked the elder. He laughed with Togo that she still called him senior. Ling Xiao asked if she would like to be under Master Duan's guidance. Qin Chang replied that if the young master didn't mind, she would agree. He handed her the voice transmission talisman. She could summon Ling Xiao using her consciousness. The girl inquired if the young gentleman would come for her. On that day, when they both reach the realm of God's kingdom, they will meet again. She would cultivate diligently and would soon become his assistant. After which the two said their goodbyes. Wu Yun asked how she met Ling Xiao. She revealed that she was a disciple of the Xuanjin sect. The young master treated her very well during his stay in the sect, and even brought her to the Holy Lands. He noticed that this girl was not from the Holy Lands, and she doesn't know about Ling Xiao's reputation at all. No wonder she looks like she's head over heels in love with him. Therefore, her cultivation of the Soul Sea realm could also be explained. Fortunately, they didn't spend much time together, but when she gets to know Ling Xiao's character and behavior, she will certainly be disappointed. and then will be able to put all her heart and soul into the Tao of the sword. To understand the principle of Tao at such a young age was truly a talent. He thanked Ling Xiao for sending her to the immortal heavenly sword sect. In that case, his sect would be able to defeat the Holy Land of the 10,000 swords, and become the #1 sword sect in the Holy Land. The problem with the Qin Chan was solved. Now we need to deal with the divine demon. An evil divine demon appeared. She struck out beside him, calling him a bastard. The divine demon was wrong about him. He sent Qin Chang to the sect, and now there won't be a beautiful woman around. Who will she admire now? She's now stupidly hanging out with this guy all day long, and what's the point? After all, she just wanted to admire the big sister with the hot body and the cute and gentle little sister at the same time. Ling Xiao mentioned that as partners, he thought they should talk. And talk very frankly. She revealed that she was originally a lowly demon. No matter how much she cultivated, she couldn't break through the demonic barrier and acquire a human-like form. Until one day, she realized that to become a powerful demon, she must attract the most powerful force in the world. And the most powerful force in this world is the power of desire for beautiful women. So she wandered around the world every day and met all sorts of cultivators. That was when she became the most powerful demon in the world. Ling Xiao asked if she was definitely a divine demon and not a simple pervert. And now it was his turn to tell us about himself. Ling Xiao confessed that first of all, he is not the owner of this body. He was from another world and had just inhabited this body, and his words explain everything. The boy asked him if she could look into his memory and find out. She explained that she just felt a strong sense of contradiction in him. This body obviously has a lot of experience with women. It reeks of child. He said not to find out such an important secret in such an unseemly way. She only laughed and joked about telling him to keep going. The guy told me about being a regular art student. After graduating from college, he could not find a job. Eventually, he stumbled across websites where he decided to write his novel. At first, no one read what he wrote. He only had to keep writing and reading other books to get even better. Gradually, the number of his readers increased, and his income grew. He finally said goodbye to instant noodles and water for every day. It's very inspiring. Still, what he was doing was pretty good. But the truth is, he wasn't happy, because he found his character becoming less and less human. They're just emotional monsters, expendable, created to make the reader feel satisfied. The protagonist was selfish, and the villains were a collection of negative emotions. No one cared what the villains thought, and no one thought about the logic of their actions. People just wanted to see their heads roll and blood spill. Now she understood why he'd let those two go. Ling Xiao had already died twice, so he was a little depressed. But now he doesn't need to think about the number of subscribers, money, or readers' comments. He wants to make this world a place where villains can live and work happily. It made sense to her now why he had said such strange things before. He's a very interesting man. If he were a girl, she would sleep with him. Ling Xiao wondered if she would really do that to a girl specifically. She replied that she would. He told her that everything that happens in this world is a plot. She asked to tell all about it. According to his extensive writing experience, there are roughly 3 main plots in the script right now. The first is the divine demon as his main trump card and support. The process of gradually revealing her seal is the process of how Ling Xiao becomes stronger, which is an important storyline. She asked if she needed to do something more to make their storyline even more interesting. Ling Xiao replied that readers only need to look at her to be happy. The second is the Holy Church. In general, those who are called the Holy Church are no good. They pretend to be the guardians of the righteous path, but in fact they have shocking secrets. Besides, they killed the divine messenger. Even if they take a detour, they will eventually clash with the Holy Church. In this story, the secrets of the Holy Church are gradually revealed. It was the damn Holy Church that used her to climb to the top. She really wanted to crush their founder's skull. However, she couldn't remember his name at all. Ling Xiao said, "Just forget about it. How can she even remember a late-stage boss without unlocking seals?" They are both long storylines, but the most challenging right now is the third, the chosen one. They are the protagonists of the various novels. They are essentially a collection of bastards who wear the halo of the protagonist. The author has turned them into innocent white lotus flowers for various reasons. In reality, they are hypocrites from head to toe. However, in this world, they are protected by the heavenly Tao and blessed by luck. If Ling Xiao kills them directly, it will backfire, so the only thing left is to act immediately. It was too complicated for her, so she asked for an example. Ling Xiao revealed that he had a half-brother whose name was Ling Tian. He was originally a genius, but when he was 10 years old, Ling Xiao's mother gave her blood son Ling Tian's denkai to help suppress a divine demon. Ling Xiao recovered, and he lost his denkai and became a failure at being unable to cultivate. Ling Xiao and the rest of the clan members bullied and humiliated him all day long. Lin Tianyu only had to hide in the Holy Land of 10,000 Swords to practice the Tao of the Sword. This is the typical template of the novel's protagonist. However, she is only interested in beautiful women. He assumed that his fiancée named Nian Qin Yun must also be the chosen one. She was immediately interested and asked if that girl was pretty. The original owner of the body only saw her masked face from afar and couldn't even contain himself. He persistently asked for her hand in marriage. In the end, there was nothing left for the Taoist Pao Miao Palace but to agree to it. But considering which body owner was a womanizer, she must not be ugly. She immediately pulled him to run to her fiancé's boyfriend. The divine demon asked if they weren't going to meet his beautiful bride. What are they waiting for? Ling Xiao told her to calm down. He has to give his future wife engagement gifts. Dao Palace Pao Miao originally didn't want to marry off a saint to a playboy like him. If there are no engagement gifts, they will definitely change their minds. So he asked the matriarch to find a suitable gift for him. He was curious to see what she found. The divine demon only asked if it could be done quickly. She couldn't take it anymore. As Ling Xiao Yi walked towards the palace, many disciples whispered about him. He sensed something was wrong. The divine demon inquired as to what had happened and why it had stopped. It used to be that every time he returned to the ones around him, a lot of sucking-up dogs crowded around him. But today, no one. Not even a secretary. And the students around him look at him strangely, and there is some anticipation and excitement in them. Ling Xiao feels that something important is going to happen today. But as soon as the divine demon didn't even want to even think about it, and hurriedly choose a gift, just as a man arrived there, who was waiting for Ling Xiao to return. At first, Ling Xiao thought he knew this figure, but as soon as he asked who the man was, he immediately fell down. As it turned out, it was a Qin Feng. He strained his brains to remember who Qin Feng was. After which, Ling Xiao remembered. Qin Feng only laughed, happy that he had finally remembered it. Qin Feng is a true disciple of the great elder, who has always been loyal to elder sister Fu. After all, after Ling Xiao became a young master, then he constantly dragged elder sister Fu around under plausible excuses. Therefore, Qin Feng looks at him with undisguised hatred. Lina sat down also noticed that this hatred had become much bigger. He often saw Ling Xiao flirting with big sister Fu, after which he became angry and went into seclusion to cultivate. Ling Xiao wondered if he was telling everything correctly. Qin Feng shouted that he didn't need to tell it. Ling Xiao bullied them all day long and did all sorts of mischief. Relying on the love of his parents, he caught everywhere, caused trouble, and ruined the reputation of the myriad Tao demon sect. A person like him can't be a young master and a sect master. Therefore, Qin Feng is going to fight him to the death. If Ling Xiao loses, just let him hand over the position of young master. The rules of the myriad Tao demon sect stated that a life and death duel could not be abandoned. He hadn't expected to meet his new chosen one so soon. Decided to see what the value of his fate was. But it was 0. The divine demon couldn't believe he was getting in the way of seeing the handsome man. She was ready to rip this guy to shreds. Ling Xiao asked her to calm down. The divine demon didn't want to stop. Those who stood in her way of the beautiful woman would die. Ling Xiao only got angry seeing that even NPS without any destiny value wanted to use him to achieve their goals. It seems like he was being too kind. The divine demon asked if it was better for him to calm down. A girl came running over to them and greeted the young master. They immediately turned their attention to big sister Fu. Qin Feng wondered if senior sister had come here to challenge in Ling Xiao. In response, she simply told her younger brother not to stop her from talking to the young master. Big sister Fu said that she had prepared a banquet for him. Therefore, he must not forget to cross over after the battle. He put his arm around her, talking about how she was still just as beautiful. This made Qin Feng even more angry. The girl said that Qin Feng had asked the Grand Elder for a few copies of the Divine Demon technique before going into seclusion. Therefore, the young master should be careful. The Divine Demon noticed that this little sis' little sister was very kind. Therefore, when Ling Xiao dealt with this brat, then let him remember to stop by to see her. Ling Xiao asked, wasn't she rushing to his fiancé? The Divine Demon explained that his fiancé isn't running off anywhere. And little sister is right in front of them. She's like meat that needs to be eaten quickly. Ling Xiao explained that junior sister Fu is not his servant at all. She is a true disciple of the myriad Tao demon sect. Disciples of each level of the sect must participate in a fight to the death. Only the survivors can be promoted. Therefore, each stage of advancement means a bloodbath. That's why there are no slackers in the cult. Only the powerful, whose hands are stained with the blood of their comrades. The summit is for the disciples, the true disciple. One might say that their summit lies on a mountain of corpses. Because of this, true disciples are not only strong but also have great authority. They are the object of admiration and adoration among the disciples of the sect. She wondered if the younger sister was not only beautiful, but also strong. She right now wants to get her into bed and exchange knowledge. Ling Xiao slapped the divine demon, not understanding why the Holy Church didn't seal all her dirty thoughts. But Ling Xiao is a playboy. Surprisingly, he was able to kill many to reach the position of a true disciple and become a young master. Somehow I can't even believe it. Ling Xiao was surprised that she could even think sometimes. And he didn't kill anyone. Ling Xiao just went up the back door. Qin Feng could no longer listen to these conversations with himself. Ling Xiao replied that it was time for them to fight already. The Myriad Tao Demon sect is the supreme Taoist sect of the Holy Land, but there is more than one supreme Taoist sect in the Holy Land. The Ling clan is stronger than the Myriad Tao Demon sect, so the head of the demon sect was indebted to Ling Xiao's father. In the beginning, his father used the face of the Ling clan to get Ling Xiao to enter the sect. After half a year, he skipped the competition and still became a true disciple of the sect, and was named Young Master. Especially the sect is that they only recognize the strongest. A playboy like Ling Xiao, who is served everything ready-made, will not be able to convince people. She remembered his words about the place being all full of suck-ups and slackers. Ling Xiao maintained the Holy Land of Dan Yuan, and generously distributed many spiritual treasures and pills to these scum. In this way, he was helping them to strengthen their strength. Even talented and strong disciples did not have the opportunity to receive spiritual treasure and pills for nothing, so they all started sucking up to him. Perhaps in their opinion, sucking up to him and cultivating are the same thing. The divine demon noticed that they were all following him in droves. Even so, they still want Ling Xiao to lose. After all, everyone wants to see a poor kid humiliate a rich kid. That is why the rich should never bully the poor, for then the opposite happens. It's part of human nature. It appeared to the divine demon that junior sister Fu was worried about him because she liked him. The start of the duel of young master Ling Xiao against the true legend Qin Feng was announced. Fu Yunyao also looked at this duel. She was approached by a rather familiar man who saw that little sister was also here, which means it's the young master's duel. She's always hanging around him, isn't she? It was Xiao too. Yunyao wondered how come such a withdrawn cultivation maniac like him came out of seclusion just to watch the fight. The boy replied that there was nothing wrong with that. He was just bored in solitude and decided to get some air. Of course it was a lie. Xiao Tu asked his younger sister who she was rooting for. Probably for the young master. The girl replied that she did. Xiao Tu, on the other hand, wanted Qin Feng to win. And this time Xiao Tu will have to do what he wants. She began to worry even more about the young master. In this fight, only the strongest will survive, so they should try their best. Whereupon they began. The dragon spirit showed itself there. Fu Yunyao didn't expect to see great sword that destroys demons here at all. After all, this is a demonic skill that can only be cultivated in the illusion destruction realm.